Although I think that was like 2 years ago, so you know, I would have might be slowing down. And it did an update as well. It said updates pending, and I was like, oh great, it's gonna be ages. And it just said restart, and I was like, oh, pretty good.
Now we wait for the man himself,
Yes.
the only other male member of this group.
I know. I thought that the other day. What was it? It was when we were out at in the asylum, and I was like introducing Connor to like Jay and Harley and Jay's friend Robin and his girlfriend. And they're like, oh, yeah, we played D&D together, and I was saying that I play with you guys, and he was like, they were like, oh, is that it? I was like, yeah. I was like, and then Robin's girlfriend said that she never hears of D&D groups where there's more girls than guys ever. Like, we are quite an anomaly.
Yes. I mean, it did kind of end up that way, weirdly.
The girls get our way as well.
Very much so.
It didn't start that way. When it started, it was 3 dudes and me.
Oh, yeah.
When the proper group was starting up in... Oh wow, my
What do you mean proper?
I was gonna say
original group. Sorry, my brain was focusing on
the
7
good
things.
group,
Yeah.
the proper good
The
group.
group that makes good decisions about things and doesn't just romance everyone. Focus on that.
Hey.
No. If it helps to
I
know,
love it.
if
It's
it
my
helps,
favourite part.
this group is the group. It is my core and only forever lifetime group from now on.
Woo!
My brain was just splitting like memory. The original group for like Parabor phase and all that. Why is my brain not? The other world group is what I was trying to say.
The
I'm not,
remnants.
thank you. Oh, that was gonna fucking drive me insane. When it started, it was Rachel, Kieran, Connor at some point.
It was me, Kieran, and Connor with the main people.
Mm.
Well, it was me, Kieran, and then some random people, and then you added
Well,
Connor in.
Yeah.
And then we tried some more random people, and that
Didn't
failed
work.
miserably. And then we got Aaron, and it stayed like that for ages until
Hey,
Chloe
I came
joined.
in before Aaron. I think. Did I? I think I did. I remember him joining.
Yes.
Unless he was.
Yes.
Unless
No,
he joined
that's true.
before that.
That's true.
Yeah, no, because we kept trying to get new people in, and it kept failing. And I was like, I have a friend that might join.
You might not believe this, but I have a friend.
I know, it's crazy.
I
but
know
do
people in
have
the
some.
outside world.
Not to flex or anything.
Well, yeah, we'd all played together before, hadn't we? At Ryan and Megan. So was it just Ryan? No, it's Ryan and Megan's, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
It was
Yeah.
both yours. Yeah.
But we used to play on Discord as well.
Yeah, we started on in
Oh, I was
person.
thinking. I was like, why did I think it was just Ryan's? I was thinking of the Game of Thrones board game that we played together. That we didn't ever actually end up playing. It was just a New Year's.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Hello.
We're just reminiscing about how old times and the fact that there's more girls in this group than there is in probably 90% of any other D&D group.
And Lee shot himself in the foot and said back when it was the good group.
Firstly, I said the proper group, which
said, yeah.
is still bad, but
Yeah.
Very
close
bad.
enough.
I meant the original group. And then
But at the same time, if Lee didn't say that, wouldn't somewhere in the distance, if Aaron heard, would he get offended?
Well, Lee wasn't in the. Oh, sorry, Aaron wasn't in the proper group either, from the sound of it.
from the start.
I mean, technically, the start group is me, Connor, and
Kieran.
Kieran.
Yeah. I was more original group than Aaron was.
Yeah. But yeah, to
Although
be
I
fair,
was skimmed over. My joining.
look, I meant from the start. My brain went
I know,
somewhere
I know.
absurd. I don't want to hurt anyone here. I left
We're
all say
talking-
that.
yeah,
I know I was an
talking OG.
accidental join.
You were not an accidental join.
No, you were. I'd been tactically building you up to it for
Yes.
See?
months. I'd been saying to Lee for months, I think I can persuade Megan to join, and just have to try a bit longer, and then it worked.
Like one time you just in our like chat and you're like, hey, we're starting a new game next week. You can join.
What a coincidence!
Ooh.
Hadn't realised it was a whole setup.
Then you wouldn't have done it.
The pressure would have been too much.
Yes.
Well, put it this way: are we now not all bestest friends forever, and you love me because I'm amazing?
Yes.
That did not sound genuine at all.
Sorry,
Oh,
it's also because I'm eating.
It sounded no, I meant Chloe. It sounded like someone was holding a gun to Chloe's head, and she was
No,
like,
I said it with such passion. I am just like, yes, because I love you all.
Technically, Rachel also was setting up Chloe to join as well.
"I was, as yeah."
Were you?
This has all been my machinations.
It's
for
one big
months.
ruse.
Yeah, because I remember Rachel being like, "Oh, I know someone. She doesn't do well with strangers, though. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and persuade her. She is nerdy like me, and we play games."
And it worked.
It did.
And now I've
I
been
really
to your
did wanna
house.
play. Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll all be in my house.
So it was a long con on Rachel's part to start a female dominant
D&D game.
D&D group.
I mean, it
And
succeeded.
it was worth it.
And now we make all the decisions based on romance.
You gotta get some of that K-drama theme going.
Wait, so are you saying that most of the decisions that you guys made on the custom game, the other night we did with the 7 sins, was based on K-drama?
Yeah.
I mean, mine was chaotic. Whatever I did until I fell asleep.
Mine was somewhat strategical and just observing until you guys were like, "Do you want to do something?" And I'd be like, "Sure." And just
Let's
do
do
it.
something crazy.
To be fair, my go-to was just I fly into the air because I can do that now.
Yeah. I was just I don't know. I
Let's
think
be
I
a
was scared
giant
of
spider
everything.
woman.
And then
You were
Connor-
the
Connor-
mannequins blankets.
Connor
No.
turned me invisible and I fell asleep. So pretty apt.
You fell asleep and took. You became invisible and took a nap.
Yeah, yeah. It was a very long day for me, and I was very tired.
Yeah, that's quite sad as well. I just remember I was quite mentally checked out, and
And I decided to throw puzzles at you.
I think
Yeah.
I was perhaps the highest energy, but I'm really bad at puzzles, so that's not a good thing.
that's why I was
Really, we
quite
needed
glad.
Megan.
I was
Mm.
gonna
We
say,
did, we
puzzles
really
and I
needed
wasn't
Megan.
there.
We could
I had
feel
another
like the
game
loss of
playing
Megan
on
that day.
Hmm.
My mind was so gone that I was actually playing another strategy game as well as D&D, so I can get my mind to try
Poor.
and focus and start doing puzzling.
But the thing is, it was all in Asatari's brain, so that's why there were so many puzzles.
There's weirdly
Because-
a lack of romance from the sound of it.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
there was romance.
there
There was
was
nice
a,
mannequins.
there was a succubus that was stood.
Oh,
was
yeah.
naked
Oh
with
my
his
God.
dick out.
Okay.
Yeah, I was after that.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
sounds
you really
like a surprise
were.
brain.
Yeah.
And Anessa failed the check and was literally like drooling at him.
I was like following him into the room, just like, yeah, let's go.
Repulse the succubus by hugging Vanessa and going, "You mean a lot to me. Please stay." And it was like,
Look,
yeah,
It's a good thing that we don't remember this, because so far Brewin has propositioned Anessa for a threesome, and has now hugged her when she was gonna go off with this succubus guy.
Like
And
Horus,
said, I care about you, so she would be like, what?
like Horus ripped the chain from round his neck and then ran. So
Anessa
Pretty
might have
incorrect.
done
Not
that
in a
as well,
sexy
but
way.
in a different way. It was good. It was good. I enjoyed it a lot.
Everyone, roll your 20s. I will be back. I need to get a glass.
Oh, I thought I clicked 20.
I'll roll my 20, and I forgot my tea downstairs, so I will use this.
Blasphemy.
I've
Mine's
forgotten
taking
nothing.
forever to roll. Ah! It took so long to load. It was so tense. Oh my god. Did I
all
even
it
make?
took-
Oh man. I make notes every single fucking session. apart from
In
last
this
session,
session
because
you were marking.
I was marking papers, and I knew, I was like, if I don't do anything in this session, I'm gonna get recap next time. And I was like, but I need these papers marking. And to be fair, it was a really good thing that I got those papers marked, because the next day the kids did the assessment for the third time, because it's like we're doing like small steps arithmetic basically. I've gone over for the past like 2 months column addition and subtraction to try and close the gap. And they did it again that next day, and I told them what their top score was for them to try and beat, and they absolutely fucking smashed it. And I like sent the data to the maths lead, and I was like, this is the impact of the small steps arithmetic that I've been doing with my class. Praise me.
Praise
And I did get praised. I've been the talk of all the staff meetings, and I actually got told, Phil, the deputy head messaged me today just being like, right, now you're being too good, you need to stop it. And I was like, thank you. Makes a change, doesn't it? Makes a change.
No, I will not stop.
To be fair, at least a lot didn't happen last session. It was a talky session.
I know,
Yeah.
but I'm really bad at remembering the talky stuff.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I did make some notes, but it's mostly to do with that spider thing I was talking about.
I took notes for half of it.
Okay, well I can sneak a glance at your notes.
Quick, share your screen.
Oh shit.
You'll never know.
I don't know how.
Oh no.
No, we
It's
gotta
okay.
swap before he gets back. Ah!
It's okay. I think.
I remember what Lycoris did.
Yeah, I think
Lycoris-
we can all
Like,
fill in
Lycoris
the
got
gaps.
drugged.
Yeah, she opened a safe, got drugged, got upset. Then her mother turned up, and she
Hey, oh,
apologized
yeah,
to
I
her
forgot
mother,
about
and
that.
now she owns
Oh,
the
he
bar.
owns it.
She
And
left then, didn't she?
And
Yeah, the mother left, and then I think we went to bed.
Let's go wild.
In real life, in game we didn't go to bed, but I think after that happened we went to bed.
Yeah. So, I found out the thing that I want, like Horace might be able to get me it, which has been like my life's work. It's not my life's work, it's just, since we've been playing.
The key to the city thing.
Yeah, so that's been in my bio for ages and I forgot about it. But it's there. So, I want us to admit that we were heroes to save the city, and I'm going to talk to Lycoris to try and get this thing at some point, basically. I was going to do that, but then Lycoris got drugged. So, I decided not to. Because she was a mess. And I was like, maybe I shouldn't ask her for the key to the city, because I don't know what she'll do at the minute. New laws have been put in place here. The council started recruiting upper and lower city members that can be controlled. They started to speed up the release date of people from the Underdark, like the prisoners and slaves, and the mind controllers do the bidding of the council. And it's basically a cult of the mind. The councilors mind control them to keep them in line, so it's a weird situation at the minute, but it seems to be in order. Drows like spider, so spider armor. That is one of my notes. Drinking with everyone. We get sleepy. Vlad and I see mother. I see her as younger. Vlad sees her as older and angry. Avoids her gaze. Lycoris' mum shows up. Lycoris' mum goes away. That's my notes.
Yeah.
So there's probably a lot to fill in there.
Lupula said he was going to train Ishgari with his other soul half thing. Because he's this untouched elf. It's going to help him deal with his evil other side of his soul. I'm pretty sure the chicken was drunk and hiccuping on the floor.
Yeah, he was.
And Vlad was using him as a backrest and just vibing.
Yeah.
I think when we left, Lupula was like, "Come, tell me about all of your stories," and that's when we ended session.
We were like, no.
We were like, "It's bedtime. No stories for you today, Lupula." But I own the place now, so we can all stay up and talk as much as we want because we don't have to go anywhere. I can have my own bedroom back. Nice.
Oh yeah. Is that this one?
I'll set our
Wait,
lights on fire. Funnily enough, mine's the black room. The room with all the black bedding.
Oh yes. Can I have this one then? I never get a nice room.
I feel like I need to move into the big room.
Um,
I feel like
that one.
Lycoris would do that just as an FU to Orlanth.
Can I have your old room then?
Whoever gives me the best prize gets the nice room.
Okay,
Dibs.
what's in my inventory? No, you can't dibs it. I already fucking dibsed it.
I didn't
I
hear
think
the
the
words.
chicken. Oh, Jesus Christ. my roll 20 just crashed and I did reload it.
Harry's
I think
listening to his argument, but remembering that the last time we stayed here, she and Anessa shared a room.
No,
Oh
that's
yeah,
true.
we did. Oh my god.
In fact,
Was
while we're
this where we
playing,
spooned?
Yeah.
I'm gonna open this map and I'm gonna start redecorating it to Lycorus's tastes, because I can.
Can you make us all a room?
Yes, actually, I
Woohoo!
can.
This can be our base now. This is our new
We've
home.
got airship base and now our in base.
Isn't it
And
great to have a
Like
nepo
Horace
baby?
owns all of them.
Hey, I'm helpful. I'm a nepo baby that
At what
is
point?
being useful.
At what point does she
Right,
get a
I'm
complex
helping.
that we're just using her because she's got money?
And eventually,
gonna-
when we ever
it's
go to
gonna happen.
Janata, we can just stay at Trafalgar's.
Yeah. Oh my god, we've got so many connections. Yeah, I'll take this one if you're vacating it. Let me see. What have I got to give you?
Hey, no, that's. I don't know how you're gonna choose this.
Do you want Trafalgar swords? No, I want them. I take that back. I have.
Is anyone else
few
actually?
things.
Is anyone else actually bothered about that room?
It's like the leg thing. Let's see how far she'll go without any kind of
Let's see how far we can push her.
see what she'll give away without any competition.
Or it's that it could be the fancy guest room. You know, for when we have fancy guests that we need
Oh
to.
my god.
Here's our goth room.
That
Yeah,
would
this is-
be like, we're all living in squalor, and you're just like, but we gotta keep this room nice for other people. You're like,
Yeah.
no one visits
Yeah.
us.
You have your own bedroom, and you live in a fucking bar. I
Yeah, that is
understand
her-
that I have an ensuite and a private office, but we're at different stations in life, man.
Oh, now it comes out. Oh, she's too good for us now. She's like, yeah, you can have the little
Also-
fucking hovel room. I'll have my ensuite, and we're not even going to give anyone a nice room. That's going to
just
be for
remembered
other
something.
people.
What did you?
Excuse me.
Go
excuse
on.
me, missus.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
never slept in a nice bed before. We spent several nights at a palace sleeping in extremely nice.
Yeah, that's true.
To be
You've
fair, I
got a
did get a
taste.
nice
That is a
room then. I
lie.
did
You've
get
got-
a nice
You've got a
room then.
taste for it now. That's the
That
problem.
was the equivalent of a hotel though. This is for keepsies.
You guys have enough gold to do what you want with the place. This could be your home base. Just remember, any outlandish thing that you want, Rachel will probably have to put on the map.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
like, is this still meant to be a working inn though? We don't want to take up too much space, guys.
It's whatever you guys want it to be.
I mean, to be fair, we could just turn it into a bar and cordon
just
off the staircase.
Yeah, it's just a house with lots of rooms.
If anything,
Everyone
it's gonna
could
end
live
up
here.
it's gonna end up turning into a fucking illicit den. We've got 4 genassis that work in the underworld, and a lot of alcohol.
And technically, I reckon Lycoris
It's
just
gonna be
step
great.
outside to the seating area and just be like, these love heart tables just aren't doing it for me.
Crack them in half.
I want metal spiked tables.
Yeah, I don't want a fancy courtyard. This shall now be a battle area. It's
No.
mummies.
Oh, it's gonna be a battle pit.
Yeah, and you can come and bet.
Oh god.
Abduct goblins from outside,
Free
Turning into
does-
a monster.
yeah.
outside and bring them in like battle chickens and just
Yeah.
play betting. An underground battle goblin ring.
Let's make.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Let's take our time with these decisions. Let's not do any rush.
What if we get nice goblins, like 2, and we treat them nicely, and then they can run the bar while we're away? Some cute little goblins.
Why do you need goblins?
I don't mind
Do you intend to pay
compromising.
them?
Yes,
We
but
can-
they'll look very cute in little
We
outfits.
can get 4 goblins. 2 will treat nicely. 2 will treat like trash, and then they'll have to fight it out in hopes that they might get the love that they're never gonna get.
So, just
Diabolical.
No,
just so I've
Are
got
you
this
sure you
right.
used to be an
no,
angel?
don't listen to them.
Just so I've got this right. You're all wanting to turn the, we'll call it gently, a sex club
Yeah.
that was lost when the owner left. They got
Yeah.
taken over by your Nepo baby's mother, who then gave it to the Nepo baby out of sole fact of, here, have this thing I held for you, fine, do whatever, I'm going to go live with my fortune. You, as an adventuring party who will not be here most of the time, are going to turn it into a bar run by goblins.
Yeah.
A goblin fighting pit, yes.
Yeah, with a
yes.
fighting pit as well.
With a fighting pit.
Okay, I want you to go back to the beginning of that sentence when you said you all want this.
True.
I was just letting all my chaotic goblin energy out before
I feel.
But you gotta remember that you're an angel again.
Oh my god! I had a better idea. Can
Oh
we
my
not
God.
just turn it into? Because I'm assuming Ishgari's gonna have to stay here with Lupula to learn how to control his thingies. So he can't. He can. He cut his thingies. That wasn't a great way to phrase it, but he has to stay here anyway. So surely, can he not just run it? Can he not just be the
Yeah.
proprietor? And instead of it being a bar, he can
He-
make it into a tea shop, and
Do
he
you
can
want
sell
to
really
run
nice
just
tea.
just as a reminder,
That's cute.
up until before you met him, he looked after the home that Ishi left him in the event that he returned for several hundred years, on his own,
Just
with
like, look after this new one.
with
Yeah.
with someone who oversaw him. And then you came along, you took him on a journey. He learned big sad things. And the only other thing that he knows how to do is contact spirits, which he can no longer do. So you want him to look after the bar.
Well, I would rather he have property. I mean, because Magata Mansion got trashed, and I highly doubt it's not been rebuilt because Ishi's not here to do it.
This is clearly for his benefit.
He needs to, unless he's going to live with Lupula and we're going to come back and they're going to be some cute power couple. I'm okay with that too. I mean, Esatari might not be, but I am.
I mean, this is all assuming that Ishi's of age, or at least of... Sorry, trying to find the words. Lupula's standard of age.
That's how old is Ishkari? Ishkari is relatively old though.
Mm-hmm.
I thought everyone was old here.
Ishkari is definitely older than Anessa.
Someone at Trafalgar.
Everyone is older than me.
Someone at Trafalgar is called Lupula Young.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Maybe Ishkari's too old for Lupula.
Oh no.
Do remember, elves do not age anywhere near the same. Like
And
you as a loose example.
Yeah, but I'm even worse. But Ishgari was a baby when Lycoris was very young.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got to be at least 200 years old. At least. Because Lycoris is 221 in this form. And that's from her memory. She could actually be old. So he's at least 200 years old. So maybe he's too old for Lupula. Oh. There goes my plans of acute power.
Yeah.
This is all
Either way, we're keeping this place, right? We're gonna make it something. A tea shop or a
Gets the
bar.
room.
Basically what I was going to. I have a transmutive potion. No, I won't.
Well-
I don't mind what room I have. It would just be nice. That's all.
Oh
I
no.
want one of the ones with the cute round pillows.
I mean, any room can have a cute round pillow. But okay. I can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 bedrooms there. 7 big one. 8 Lycoris's one. But whoever has Lycoris's old room has to be responsible for locking away important stuff because all of her really intricate locking in the wall safe is all still in there. So
you arrive in the middle of the night and they're just like, oh, what? Lycoris, what are you doing in my room? It's like, shh, I'm just opening one of the very super secret top secret safes.
sorry,
I was just going to say,
I need to get this. Sorry.
I was just gonna say I don't want that responsibility. I was like, oh, it would make sense though because I have all these things. I have the things that make all the chests disappear, and I can do arcane lock on things and all these things. So I would be the ideal candidate, really.
So, onto
Also about to marry nobility, apparently.
True.
not marry, but you know he's pretty keen.
You know, you've got to have aspirations.
Yeah. If I invite him round and I'm in one of those tiny little rooms, like that's come on.
You're saying you're getting the peasant experience today, my love. Let's go to the peasant room.
These rooms are far nicer than what Anessa would have been used to at home.
Instead of mantree, the peasantry.
The fun part about that is you would, from the station you started at, go from scrap to little bits of the underworld to adventuring to slight pampering to nobility. So you would literally go from 0 to 100 across your lifetime.
Rags to riches.
Yeah.
I don't know if she'd like it.
But what are we all doing? It is under the assumption, by your all agreement, that it is nighttime. You're all going to bed.
True.
Are the others, are our friends staying here?
Mm-hmm.
I will offer them to stay. I assume they would anyway.
Mm-hmm. Most of them do stay.
Is her bed? Oh, I can't stay in Orlith's bedroom yet anyway.
Why?
If I remember correctly, last time we were here, I smashed her bed up and tried to set the room on fire until Esatari stopped me.
Oh.
Mm.
They might have fixed it
Okay.
up in the meantime, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Has Orlith's room been improved? Has it got a bed, or is it still in the horrific smashed state that I left it in?
No, pieces have been replaced. There is an immediate, clear decor difference as it goes from that gentle silken thises and that's to a basic frame in the same like queen size, and just general pillows that clearly it's the case of just a guy has come in and just chucked it and just been like, okay, well this'll do for the meantime. Like we can't find the same materials. Most of it's like different colours, like blues, and some of the pillowcases are greys, and it's different. The place has been remodeled mildly, and
We
anything
really have
broken
to
has been
redecorate.
replaced.
Well, as long as I've got a room, I'll stay in Orlith's room.
Esther runs to the big room.
The big room is locked because Lycoris is locked with very many keys. I'm
I
leaving
use
it locked.
arcane
We're not,
lock.
we're not having this argument.
use knock.
I'll use knock. I don't
Boom.
know what level that is.
Ding dong.
2?
I don't know. It's fine. If I see that it's locked, I'm just gonna go to this other room. I'm gonna go to the second biggest room.
Are we actually going to
The
bed
orgy
in game, or are we like? That is the orgy room. You are correct. But
That's fine by me.
are we actually going to bed in game, or were people still talking?
Ah,
It depends. Do you guys have anything you want to talk about? Because the last thing that happened, of course, was oh my brain, Ishikari's Suntouch side taking over, and then
is Lycora still out of it though?
No, I'm fine now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Can I, whilst people are deciding, can I take Ishikari up and put him into a room to sleep?
Mhm.
In fact, I will put Ishikari in my room for now. There you go.
There we go.
Hooray, the little
I'll put
baby.
Ishikari in there for now because he's not very well.
I would talk to Iltsima and maybe Lupula.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Where did we go? Oh, Ishikari needs to be in Lycoris's old room,
Okay.
not
Wait.
Lycoris's new room.
I cry.
So, who else is pairing up with whom to talk? I mean, unless
I love how
there's
you had to highlight that.
Pick
unless
your
there's
starter right now.
Yes, highlight that. Do you know who you're playing with?
Oh.
I feel like Lycoris would want to talk to Anriel about what's happened since they left.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Someone needs to take one for the team and talk to Kier, please, because I'm quite sad. I'm a bit worried about him.
I'm busy, sorry.
Yeah, you're very busy. You've got 2 people to speak to.
Does Brewen want to talk to Kia or shall I talk to Kia? Who's Brewen talking to?
He was talking to Freed, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he was. But I think the conversation died towards the end of the session. Don't know.
Do you, man? I can talk to him, but I just don't remember a lot about him.
Freed's having a chat with the trapper. Lovely. That seems
I
like a
think-
very awkward conversation.
I think out of,
Sorry, I blew up your home.
yeah, I think Kier only really spoke to Lycoris.
Yeah, I
and
think so.
like Horus and Trafalgar. I mean, I can speak to Keir and Anriel.
Yeah, I think
It
I
is
can
so.
relevant.
I can hold a double conversation.
Are you sure? Your voice sounds strained as you say that.
But I can speak with people.
I can do it, I promise. Yeah, Nessa's gonna sit with Vlad, and gonna sit here, not on the table. She's gonna shoot little glances over at Esatari, remembering the last time we were here. Vlad's not gonna get another beer. I'm monitoring.
I suppose I'll just do whatever.
So, everybody roll me a d20.
There's 20. Ah, Jesus Christ.
10?
The total of my rolls today has been 10.
So, like a brie play, and then estouri. So, awkward one first, I guess. Lycoris.
Oh.
You sit with the pair. There's actually no, hold on. I'm gonna make it real intimate. There you go.
Oh, nice, cozy.
Oh, has he got his hand on his thigh?
It's just like, Lycoris, listen, we wanna ask you something.
We have a proposal.
All we need. She's gonna
They-
be the best woman.
They ask you very loudly. No, I'm kidding.
I like you thought best woman. I was thinking threesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that. I was just like, they're horses are getting married.
I still love like course it's like I can do it. I can speak to two people at once, and that's how it starts.
Lycoris.
Yeah, she's like, I'm
Speak
so
to
brave. I'm
people.
gonna have a conversation with two people, and they're like, conversation?
He reaches out his hand to gently grasp yours and is like, listen, Lycoris, we want to ask you something.
Oh no.
We've gotten very close since being bonded spiritually. You know, me holding his scythe, if you get what I mean.
Oh, he's gonna hold his scythe.
No. As we'll get in relative distance from everyone, but enough to talk with each other. Kier still doesn't really say anything. Anriel is just kind of looking between you every now and again. He just looks over it and goes, so, are you...
Seeing anyone?
So, you've seen him? What's that deal with that trapper guy? How do I know his name? I don't know.
Metagaming.
Yeah. So, what is... Again, what is the deal with the guy? He points over toward the trapper. Why... And the thing with your mother, I thought there was... You never really spoke of family well. If at all.
We're going right in, huh? Ah, okay.
Hey, we've had bigger conversations than this.
I feel like I'm on the fucking therapy couch.
Well, you are
I've got-
basically on a series launch, so...
Well, what when well, do you remember when we left?
Vaguely amidst a horde of monsters, yes.
So we didn't see you before we left, but I kind of got legitimized after the battle.
He throws an eyebrow up and there's a bit of a smile on his face.
So I'm now officially the second daughter of the Devane family, and I'm kind of like perpetual bodyguard of my younger sister, but I'm allowed to have a year's freedom to finish off what I need to do before I come back. Before I come back and take up the mantle.
That's
Yeah.
that's amazing. I mean, the perpetual bodyguard thing and all that sounds a bit sketch, but you've been recognised. That's good, and I'm judging by the fact you and your mother have a mildly okay, awkward relationship is a good thing now. If you've been legitimised.
I think it's a bit of both. I think she finds it convenient that she's got someone to. Well, I think a lot of my job will be making sure that whoever Angelica eventually marries doesn't step out of line and try to usurp her, and I get to beat them into submission. So that sounds pretty exciting.
Well, if you think about it, if you're going to be revealed as the heroes who saved this place, Angelina's probably going to be. She'll probably be. I mean, I don't know how it works with your family, but most nobility, especially here anyway, they choose the person that they go with. Anyone that decides to go against the woman who saved the entirety of Gustodon, yeah, they're going to be very foolish indeed.
Fair point. And our relationship improved because we found out that it turns out that Orlinth is just a absolute fucking bitch.
Okay, I'm gonna need some context with that.
Did they meet Orlinth?
Not in an official capacity. They know of her.
Oh god. This is just deep lore.
Okay, well, you can thin it into keynotes.
So I was raised by Orlinth.
Yes.
But it turns out that I was a pawn and she's been deleting my memories, which is why my memories are so fucked. So, 2 people have been deleting them. One, yeah.
Deleting her porn history.
Yeah, I know. Thanks, Orlinth. Not that I feel like porn history should be an issue in this building, but yeah, she was the one deleting my memories, which includes all of the memories to do with, and I'll gesture towards Mr. Lost, him.
Oh. Is this... I don't entirely know what to say to that. Is this... Let's be honest, this is probably a normal thing for you, but how absurd is that for someone you know? Was this maybe a protection thing? Is there any room for doubt?
It seemed pretty selective what she was removing. And after we found out initially that our memories had been deleted, I told her everything and she acted shocked and pretended she didn't know anything. So... And then she disappeared without a word to any of us. So I'm not...
When did she leave?
We locked her. We told her and the others to stay safe in this building, and then we went out to fight. And by the time we returned, she'd completely cleared out the building and disappeared.
Well, I don't particularly know her, but I do know when we finally took this place over, and now that we know your mother bought the place, the previous proprietor, she did take as many people with her as she could. I don't know anything more about the who's or wheres, but I know that a handful of the girls that were here, and even some of the lads, they got on a boat with her. In a non-literal sense, by the way. Because they're not in the Undercities anymore. a lot of those people were very popular. And the usual culprits that would see them, I haven't seen them in a while. I can only assume she took as many people as she could and ran. The fact she didn't say goodbye is probably adding to your concern, though.
It's not so much concern.
Hmm.
She made her choice. Lycoris is going to steal her face in clear. We're not continuing this line of inquiry. She does not like that he's trying to give positive excuses to what Orleans did.
Well, he turns and looks to Kier. I'm not gonna lie, the temptation there to go, and he grabs his hand, but no, he doesn't.
Fucking do it.
Turns and looks.
Coward.
Do it, pussy. Turns and looks at Kier and then looks back at you. Yeah, I've got the assumption you probably got a few questions, so shoot.
So who's the scythe inside of?
He gives you that look of, I know what you're asking there, but I'm not falling for that.
No, genuinely, who's still bound to the scythe? Did you? Oh no, you're still stuck in Anriel.
He holds up his hand with the weird energy in his palm. Yup, still me. And unfortunately, while it's still bound to me, and while it's neutered, we're fine. But yeah, as we said, we're gonna have to keep seeing Hildsummer unless your buddy can do anything about it.
And Kier, how is your health?
He kind of blinks in a sort of meh kind of way. He does these little cheek pushes to say it's kind of. Eh.
I'm gonna say, excuse me for being crude in asking this, but you said that you have to wait a year to deal with this, or several months. What's the prognosis for your illness? Do you have that much time?
While whomsoever it is we spoke to in the void deals with their issues, I'm okay as long as I keep seeing Hildsummer, but I don't feel any better. Each day that passes, it's like as long as I put that band-aid back on, I will stay the same level of terrified of the next day. But I'm alive, so what can I say?
Have you looked into any alternatives?
There are not really many. It's a family curse. It's bound to Unreal, and as long as it's neutered within him, I live. But until I can get it bound to me, there is nothing saying about it. It's like breaking a pact. There is no way to force it outside of dooming the one it's attached to.
So becoming immortal wouldn't help.
They both kind of look at each other, then in unison raise eyebrows, look at you, and they both go, "What?"
Well, there's vampires within Gustodon.
Kier looks at you with that face of Anriel looks at you and just goes, you see him, he's like thinking to himself for a second, and then his head tilts a little bit as if he's just realised something. You're not shitting.
Oh, I forgot I hadn't mentioned that. Sorry. Yeah.
That, oh my god, that explains so many weird incidents lately.
Were you not aware that
No?
most vampire population lives in Gustodon because it's
No.
within a mountain?
We haven't exactly lived there for long. It's not common knowledge that I know of.
How much have you been told about Penumbra Keep?
From your friend, not a decent amount, but enough.
It's guarded by vampires. Penumbra Keep has vampire sisters on Like, multiple of them.
Well, I mean, that's fine, but Gustodon.
Yeah, there's loads of vampires in Gustodon. It's the best place for a vampire to live. You never see the sunlight because you live within a mountain.
Yes, this is true. There would be minimal sunlight. There's constant sources of blood in the middle of the night, if you need it. Unreal's just looking between you both like...
If I understand correctly, the high vampire families have their own sources of blood, and it's very well thought out, so they don't actually have to go out and take blood. They have their own storage.
I would assume that a lot of the slaves and those in the underground are used as sources, or is that a misconception?
I think for most of the highborn families, but there's more progressive families out there that use a voluntary blood bank system. No families I'm linked to. My families are the old school, but there's the DeMay family. They use a very sophisticated blood bank system where people volunteer and they're paid for their blood. It's quite a well-known part of the city. Maybe it's not to everyone. Maybe it's just...
Yeah, no, that's not... at least not to my nigh privy ears.
Well, if vampirism will help, I can put you in contact with someone, but...
Unreal leans back.
You can't say it was me.
And why not? Aren't you... well, no.
Pardon? I didn't hear what you said.
Aren't you well known?
Have I actually mentioned that she's a Dampnir? I thought I told Anriel. Did she tell Anriel? I don't think she did. I'm just gonna open my mouth and point at my teeth. Like, hopefully that's self-explanatory enough because of the fangs.
This is understandable, but then why would it be best not to tell whomsoever it is that you're the one who sent me?
Because as part of my legitimization on my mother's side, I'm not to speak of my father's.
Interesting. How would that work with your soon-to-be very deep relationship with the public, as you're going to be unveiled as a hero? There would be some questions on your inheritance, your heritage.
I'm sure my mother has some sort of plan for that, but my parentage, my true parentage will not be shared. I can guarantee you that, because it would be catastrophic.
I suppose.
For me, personally, I don't think anyone else would be impacted, but if it is to come out, I would be immediately slaughtered. So, it's not likely to be shared.
Well, that sombering and very sobering issue aside, yeah, I'll leave you to talk later about that as a possibility, but at the very least, I'm still alive and I like my blood where it is, so I'm gonna go ahead and say no. Kia... yeah, I'll leave that to you two later. But
I mean, the offer wasn't really for you, Anriel. You're gonna live ages anyway, because you're an elf.
well,
You are old, though, so...
yeah, I am essentially whatever the equivalent to Middle Ages, so...
boomer.
I don't even know what that means, and I don't want to know.
Does that mean he's the oldest one in this room?
Could be.
Ew. Grandpa.
Oh, actually, technically, I would say Brewin is, but that's neither here nor there, really.
Brewin's new body. Are we going on souls here?
Souls, baby!
Soul, sister.
Soul, sister. Because, put it this way, My brain immediately thought of it in the funniest way to me, um, just because of story stuff. Brewin, in essence, is as old as time, because this universe, or world anyway, is 3,000 years old at least. So, considering he's from the world before, he's a minimum of 3,000 years old. So,
Bro's old as
minimum.
But yeah, if we are talking souls, Lycoris is older than she,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no.
should be.
But you guys know that. No one else needs to know that.
She a mama.
I'm old. I have a son and everything. Oh, I'll meet my son.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun to say.
Yeah.
So
Who did you have a son with?
No,
She-
Talus is her adopted son.
Yeah.
Adopted, that was it. I was like, wait, hold on a second, I missed something.
She found him as a young, like a very young boy, and raised him.
I remember now. I was like, wait, hold on. I would have asked this question before, surely.
They're not blood related, and technically it's not even related anymore.
No.
It's a weird trauma bond at this point.
Yeah.
but in terms of the scythe and whatnot, I've, as part of the whole whatever the magic thing is, Iltma said to pretty much never summon it, so I've not seen it for the better part of a month at least. So, long story short, he's fine-ish. I'm fine. And as long as either your weird over-the-top wizard friend over there can think of something, or the guy in Yornima can think of something, or speed up the process somehow and remove it from us, at the minute we're just okay.
But it might be worth Kier having a chat with Anessa at some point, because Anessa has a great deal of knowledge in the magics, and she has quite a lot of spell books. So,
And an arcane daddy.
and she although we've not heard from Jonathan for a while, but she does have a very powerful arcane daddy.
That is not a sentence I ever thought I would hear.
I should probably go visit him at some
He
point.
speaks.
actually.
He
I've not-
speaks in her head
Yeah.
occasionally. Although he hasn't since she picks up that book in the Ornament. I muse all of this out loud because why not? It's fun.
You all have so much going on. No wonder you have weird issues with life.
Cool, I think that's weird.
Fair point. If you need to get to Penumbra quicker, let us know, and Anessa can teleport you there within the hour.
I will let you know about that. We've
Please do,
mostly...
because if you go back, I would like to go.
Kier looks over to you with a slight raised eyebrow. He turns his head away for a second, and he's got that kind of face of like, not related to what you just said, but his face, it's already drained, but it looks like he's like having like issues, and his body is just like falling forward a little bit. He slumps just a little bit to hold himself back.
Do you want to go to sleep? We have spare rooms. So I can help you up to a room.
I might have to take you up on that. I get headaches. Unreal, if you wouldn't mind. He kind of just stands
I will
up.
lead them. I will lead them up to a room.
Grabs him, throws an arm around his shoulder.
I'll help on the other side. Yay!
Teamwork.
I'm helpful.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
I want to know, do they share the same room?
If they want to, they can.
That's what I want to know.
I wait
You just-
respectfully outside.
You just want to shift the guilt. You don't have to feel bad about hooking up with a trapper.
As
I'm hooking up with no one. I'm good.
as he lays him down gently on the bed and kind of like tucks him in and whatnot,
Oh, cute.
he walks back over toward the door, still ajar, opens it a little. just gonna sit in here for a little bit, just in case he needs anything. Do you still want to talk, or do you want to save it for tomorrow?
Whenever you have time is fine. I don't sleep, remember, so.
Ah, true. Okay.
If I'm not downstairs, I'll be in. I'm gonna instinctively point to my room and then be like, actually, no, Ishikari's in there. I'll be in that room.
Tilts his head out and goes, "Ah,
If I'm not down there, I'm in there.
okay. Well, I'll see you in a bit." Nods, close the door very gently. And now, Brewin, what are you doing?
Good question. Don't really know. Everyone else had their own sort of like agenda and stuff, and I was just just vibing, I suppose.
Then you make a perception check.
Okay. Shall do just that. Dun.
Oh, you'll be pretty much tuned in into all the conversations. Like, you fully heard the Lycoris thing already. You'll hear Vlad, you'll hear Anessa. My brain really went out of fucking my skull there. While the Trapper and Frieda are talking, you're going to hear them too, which I will do right now. In essence, it is Fried basically talking to him. There's a very clear silence at first as Trapper just goes to sit down. Fried walks over. They kind of look at each other for a second. Trapper just kind of makes a motion to the chair. Fried sits, places his hands gently on the table, leans forward a little, and goes, "So why did you do it? And how are you here now? I have, to a certain extent, forgiven your crime, but nonetheless you played a part in what was inevitably the death of my home. And that's not something that will pass without at least a decent reason. I understand you are were a mercenary of some kind." Trapper looks kind of around the room more so than at Fried, and then he slowly turns his eyes toward him, meets eyes to eyes. "The official term is assassin, and I will not play coy. It was a job. I was paid to do those things. I took no pleasure in setting any of the traps. I was told to leave a present or two for them, and to lure them from one to the next. Then it would set in motion a chain of events that would eventually lead them to go to Gestaden, which they did. I will tell you now that I quite literally cannot tell you whom hired me. I had my memory erased of them. It's just part of the job, it's just how it works. I will tell you, however, after that job, I finally surrendered that lifestyle. And then Lady Louvain herself gave me a chance. She knew I had history with her daughter, At the time, I did not quite remember, literally, how deep that went. But nonetheless, the option was on the table and I took it. From what I recall, and I will tell you now that my ability with my bombs, my precision, is flawless. Not a single one of your people would have ever been harmed unless they chose to be heroes. Freed at that point, lunges forward and grabs him by the scruff, pulls him forward a little bit, enough that Brewin could see it, but not very many other people could. You would see the pair of them leaning forward, but that's about it. Do not give me that nonsense! You nearly killed some of my people. Your flawless whatever doesn't mean anything. You were an outlaw, doing a foolish job for foolish things such as money. You nearly hurt innocent people who had nothing to do with this. Why did you not just wait for them to get onto a different path? Or when they were even chasing after Vortigern? Mistalos slowly pulls himself free, with Freed letting him. I was told specifically it had to be there. There are eyes all over the place. You do not know how the underworld works. I'm not apologizing for the way it was executed. I did the job that I was supposed to do with no casualties. And there was never going to be casualties, so long as people played smart. And Freed at this point is almost peeling into the table with his grip. But I do regret every decision between then and the previous years of my life. And there's nothing I'll ever say that will make you forgive me. I will just tell it as it is, and you can accept that, or you can fight me, or whatever you want. But I'm making a different path for myself now. These people that I'm with, you've known them long enough. You know what differences they're going to make, and what they have made. I've been given a second chance with people I care for. If that's not good enough for you, then... He kind of leans back in the chair, holds his arms out a little. Go ahead and take your pound of flesh. But I have quit that life. My new job is to protect them. A twist of fate or whatever. I am sorry for nearly hurting those people. And I wouldn't have done so unless I had to. I was given a job, and it was either do it calculated or my head is off anyway. So, Freed. What are you gonna do? And Freed just... He's loosened his grip a little. There's still the look in his eyes of, this isn't good enough, but if any of this is even true, then he's kind of just gonna go with it for now. You are gonna pay your pound of flesh in service of the people that you ruined the lives of. And I'm not a man to repeat, so let me make this clear. When you're done here with these people, actual heroes, people of the realm who will do far more greater things in their lives than you will ever get a sniff at, you will come back here once your duty is done. You will work for me. You will help me rebuild Alden as it was. Possibly even greater. Things are already in the works to make it so. And if, oh by God, for if even a second, you step out of line, do not think I will not cut your fucking head off myself. And I might be getting old, but I have learned a lot in my years, and I will find you if I have to. By that point, Mr. Loss, looking him in the eyes, there's something of a very loose, like, grin. You'll have to pay very well if you think you're going to get a hold of me. Some people around here would pay a lot for a second of my time. And if you think I can get out of my contract with a certain Devane so easily, well, you get the idea. But I'm willing, if it gets you off my back. Freed stands up from the table, points over at Mr. Loss. Just remember, you owe a service. And then he walks off. And he goes to find a different table.
And only Bruin heard that. The rest of us are just like, la la la.
Yep.
Pretty much.
So, sort of you want to do, Brian?
Hmm?
Anything you want to do?
I might just sit by Mr. Loss as Free gets up. And I'm just going to sit down, be somewhat a bit coy, but by this point I feel Freeman can be a bit coy with Mr. Loss, and just sit down and just go, mind if I take a seat?
Might as well. Everybody else is getting their piece of me, you might as well have some too.
Hey.
I sort of give him
Not like ours, though.
give him a bit of a look and just say, oh, piece of you. I would have thought, you know, sharing a drink, giving some hearty advice, we would have probably been past the stage of wanting a piece of you, rather than just sitting and keeping you company.
What is it you would like to talk about, Cliff?
I sort of give him a bit of a smile. I just say, oh, I hear that you have a potential employer if you finish your current job.
Raises his eyebrow. You know it's rude to eavesdrop on private conversations.
Well, it is, but at the same time, I've gained quite a knack for being able to do it even without trying. But you said strike up a conversation, so I'm striking up a conversation.
He leans forward a little bit. Well, while we're talking, I guess. How comes you, of all people, decided to come back here and not deal with your problems in Janasta?
Oh. You do have a point there, but I find that to deal with my problems there, well, I could at least do with a couple more connections and finding out more information here, because considering this place no longer has, well, apparently no longer has anyone of the Apex face remaining here, it might be interesting to, well, gain some additional cards to hold close to my chest for when the time is needed to have potential allies?
Well, firstly, on that note of no more Apex, you and I both know that any city like this, especially one of inbuilt faith, there's no way they have none. They might be hiding in plain sight, or underground, or in the slave camps, but they're here. So what are you going to do about that?
Yeah. Partly, like I said, well, finding information, making the right connections, and, well, flashing them out while at the same time letting everyone else finish off their business that they need to attend to here, and also at the same time build our strength.
Well, at the very least you're getting ready, and I can appreciate that.
Of course, I wouldn't exactly be on the run for so many years just to suddenly let my guard down. It's quite nice to be able to, well, relax as much as we have done, but too much relaxation is sure to make you lazy and sure to make you sloppy. And from what we've seen in our past histories of, well, people in power being lazy and sloppy, it never ends well.
I just thought we were in Janasta for easily over a week, and yet in the time that we were there, you were, in essence, not challenged exactly, but made aware of to your biggest enemy, and yet not a single attack was made on your person, covert or otherwise. I want to know why that is. What's changed? If you're such a important figure for them, for whatever their weird machinations are, why didn't they come for you in their home territory?
I'm just gonna lean backwards a little bit, yet leaning closer while looking very casual. Oh, can't really say that you heard this from me and actually will have this knowledge to share with everyone else, but that's the part that's making me anxious. But from what I could tell on the ship, when he made, well, I'm sure you're aware that the great old man decided to make his presence known in the form of some form of holographic magic. And it would seem that he genuinely didn't know I was, well, resurrected, and if he by any chance did know I was, didn't exactly know out of all of the places I would return to, and that my original body, well, I don't even know what happened to my old body.
That's fine.
I sort of squint a little bit and look a bit like disgruntled and be like, why have I not asked Lycoris what happened to my body?
Before you get lost in that, real quick, you had that vision before we fully came to and then subsequently left, so it still adds to the point that he knew who you were, he knew what you looked like. You have a giant flying ship, for crying out loud. There was no way they couldn't have found you. And they still chose to let you be. But anyway, I don't know so much in terms of your body. You should ask. But weren't you slain in the keep?
Yeah, I was slain and eaten.
And so would your body not still be there?
I hate to be blunt when I say this, but It's quite a weird thing dying, and I'm not exactly have the greatest memory of having an out-of-body experience and, well, really knowing where my body went.
Well, you might be best asking Lycoris, probably.
Yeah, it probably will be the best choice to be asking. But knowing her, she's probably, if there was a body, probably cremation would probably be the smartest thing to do, and if it's not cremation, then it's some form of burial. Though saying that, aside from, I start looking at my hands and sort of all around my body, aside from, well, occasionally getting memories that aren't mine and occasionally doing things that I can't really explain, it's quite nice not to feel any branded marks on my chest.
He kind of...
Quite freeing.
His eyes look down for a second, and he looks down at something beneath the table, and then he looks back up at you.
Hey.
Perv.
I'm sorry.
Indeed. To remove one's shackles is the greatest form of freedom.
And it's freedom that, well, everyone deserves to experience at least in their lifetime. Just purely cruel to not be able to experience it.
I will admit that I broached this conversation to make sure I'm aware of who we're dealing with, as, well, the majority of your party anyway are not limited on people who could be potential enemies, but at least knowing the ones you're wary the most of leans me a level of preparedness for should they come to attack at some point. I can be ready with my devices. Oh, by the way, don't ever try to enter my room in the middle of the night without knocking first. Just a free warning.
Noted. Appreciate the heads up.
So, out of all of you so far, the ones I know of are your Archduke, the mother of Nessa, for reasons I'm still not fully aware of. By the seam of it, Asatari, as always, doesn't have much in the ways of those against her. Her weird pull. I'm not quite sure I understand how it works, but when I encountered you all for the first time, there was something like that towards me, and I still can't quite understand what it was. But it's not really here nor there anymore. Lycoris, of course, enemies-wise, pick a continent, there's probably someone there from her past. At the very least, we got rid of one of the key figures.
Yeah, one key figure, yet a handful of mystery others. But at the same time, same could be said about me. There's a hope that hails ASMR and tends to idolize us as fallen angels and, well, used as experiments and, well, just full on idols to convey their conviction. some would probably see us as like the end of all times and things that need to be burned on the spot.
Well,
so,
in a world like this, where faith is a limited resource, of course you're revered or reviled. You're a necessity, but you're an evil at the same time.
Pretty much. To be honest, can't really say I've ever been fully curious of my origin. It's come to me here and there, and it's made me think of it, but it's never really been something I felt as, well, worth face value as much. The only thing I've ever yearned for is, well, the very thing that many people tend to disregard on a daily basis, and that is the freedom of being able to wake up whenever they want to sleep, to eat the food that they want to eat, to walk around, talk to who they want to talk to, and to walk the life they want to, well, without people trying to cage you like a bird.
I just thought of something. Have you ever been to Angel's Isle? It's this the singular little island that's in the northern quarter, near Dignity, between that and Mount Menning. It's probably hocus pocus, but given all the nonsense that we've seen in this journey alone, or at least since I've been here, there once was a belief that the Angel's Isle is a birthplace for ASMR and those of a general God-touched nature. People used to take pilgrimages there to bless their children and hope they gain the same powers and proficiencies. It was all a bunch of magic hocus pocus, but whether or not that's because of some destined nonsense or if there's actual truth there, but maybe you should try going there one day. It's said that the waters themselves are almost crystalline clear, and at certain points in the day when the sun itself would hit the isles, it's said to shine a golden ray, almost like a rainbow bridge between Menning and Dignity, or at least the land masses anyway. And again, mystical nonsense, but no one has ever really seen it. But there's been enough rumours of it that I can't not tell you about it. Maybe if you go there someday you might find something. If nothing else, it's a good tourist spot.
It's worth pondering on.
Well,
Angel's Isle, hey?
but yeah. I'm going to go see what Lycoris is doing. You've got me in a chatty mood.
Fair enough.
Ooh, you've got him in the mood.
Last I saw, she was taking care of the two gentlemen she was talking to, and realised.
You gotta say it like that.
Taking care of.
Especially in this establishment.
Was somewhat cursed, so I believe he's probably still has the curse ailing him. And as for, well, her brother Isha, he's probably put him to bed, and But at this point, I sort of like spot her by the bar and just say, I think by now she's probably getting a drink, so you being a chatty maid is probably a good time, considering she might be in a chatty mood for a drink as well.
He stands up, takes a step across. He looks over toward her. He turns his head just slightly enough, seeing you in his periphery. I never much... I don't do conversations. My line of work, and for what I knew of my life, it never afforded me allies or friends. And I'm not so tender that that's liable to change very quickly. But I don't find myself disgusted having these conversations with you, for what little that's worth.
You could say a bird of a feather to a degree, because being a man slash, well, a smurf, constantly on the run and forever looking over his shoulder until he's found a group of people to venture with, who's now ended up becoming friends, is, well, fairly new to me as well, and conversation, well, became a stepping stone into many other things. So yeah, it makes a change talking to someone with, well, similar experiences and similar mannerisms to not being the most sociable.
He just, still like, looking at you in his periphery, just nods slightly. Oh, and Freed, while I don't care for his way of doing it, made his point well. So, I am sorry for my past, and for what I nearly did to you all. I'm gonna go now. And then he immediately starts moving away.
Social battery gone.
I sort of look at him as he walks over, very stiff and very, what's the word?
Robotic.
Robotic, yet with purpose. That's the one. Sort of like give him a bit of a smirk. But he doesn't know I'm fully smirking at him because he's just focusing his
I must go now.
peripherals on Lycoris.
Yeah.
I want to know how much, like, because Brewin's perception's really good, right? So during that conversation, was he not just hearing other people's conversation at the same time? Like, how zoned in was he, or was he just like, you know, when the radio's on and the TV's
Static
on
and stuff, and you're
people
just there
talking,
blanking it.
it's just like ah.
It's like stuck in staircase.
Brewin tapped into his godlike divinity and became
He just-
all-knowing for that
he just he just hears like giggles coming from Esatari, like and then on the other side
Oh, your
It's just
wand
like-
is so big.
Oh god.
Oh, sorry, no, you're right. That's cringe. Your rod is so big.
Oh, no.
I thought it would be a
That's only
joke
better.
about sensing their power. Like, I bet you both got a
No,
lot of power.
I went for the low-hanging fruit.
I just like that her uncle sat alone though. Is he like just watching, chaperoning, like, what is this?
Well,
My precious innocent Esatari with two men at one table.
well, I mean, his base perception is like 17.
He's hearing all the goss. Poor Freed. He looks lonely.
Chose to be lonely, he's fine.
Anessa! Anessa?
What's Anessa doing?
Um,
Getting drunk with a chicken.
and her brother. Let's not make this weird. So,
So,
how does it feel to have Ravi back?
feels amazing. And also, did you know that Ravi now has this weird spot underneath his chin that is kind of still a little bit stony? I don't know if he's been pegging at it and he accidentally turned himself somehow, but it's kind of cool. But nonetheless, it is amazing to have him back. It has been so weird.
You do seem much happier, brother.
Well,
And
of
it's all
course.
thanks. And I'm just sat there, just waiting for him to like, thank you, sister. I'm just like, who was it thanks to?
He immediately just is like rubbing Ravi's like chin and just like, oh, who was it thanks to, Ravi? Come on, tell us, who was it? It was a Satari, yes! That's correct. Good job, Ravi.
I flick a little bit of my drink at him.
Ah! Wait, is this booze? Oh.
I knew it. I knew he'd do that. He really is my brother. So.
So,
What now?
sister. I don't know. I'm kind of just here, to be honest. After that little, what was it? A ball? What was that thing we did? Bubble? Ah, okay.
It
Well.
It was a big party.
A very poncy one, but yes.
Very poncy.
I don't know. I've kind of got a weird need to explore some more. I feel now that, well, Mother's recent threat wasn't so enticing to the fact, but us flying across the sky and seeing all these weird and interesting places and all the things our friends can do and all the weird things I can do now, I kind of just want to see more. And
So you've not been scared off from this life?
well, adventuring kind of, but exploring? No. I kind of want to see everything. Oh, I heard from Esatari somewhat about Theron, and I'm kind of curious about that in particular.
What's referring to? I can't remember.
Where I'm from.
Where are we going? Did we say we're going there next?
Nope.
We didn't say we're going there.
We've not
Where are
made
we
a
going
decision.
next?
No decision made.
Oh, okay. Yes, I mean, it must be a lovely place. Is that somewhere you want to go and see?
I do.
Then we should adventure there together, brother.
I was going to kind of ask, you see he's like playing with the mug in his hand, and you've only ever seen him like this a handful of times when he's about to ask for something he doesn't want to ask for. Well, he looks around the room at everybody and people like having drinks, some people general chit chat, and Esatari in the corner currently chatting with two bright, bushy-eyed super wizard drow men. Looks back at you, like avoiding eye contact mostly though. I wondered if it could just be you and me, and I'm not saying anytime soon, but I'm not so sure about, with everything going on at the moment, and I would like us to explore together. Maybe go to Theron, try some of the foods, see some new people, new faces, a new culture, and maybe try some of the sake.
Oh. We will. We will. He does! But this is the episode going around with Ravi.
And I just really wanted to know how plausible that is, because it all seems with all of your friends, it seems very complex, and I don't want to drag you away from them with... And you will never catch me saying this again, so you should listen well. You are strong, sister. You've got all these new powers and this understanding with your magical stuff now that I don't even think Mother in her prime really knew.
Cringe at the mention of her.
I know, I know. And I know they need you. I just want it to be us again. We never really had us, really. Not in any good case.
No.
And don't get me wrong, it has been nice to be with you again, but it's always under strenuous circumstances, and there's always
I know.
things. And I will always be there for you if you need me. I just would like for it to be us again. And Ravi, of course.
Of course. I looking at the drink in my hand. To be honest with you, and this might be just the drink, but I have wondered a fair few times if they really do need me and what value I have here, and if I'm still wanted around. Glance up at Estari a little bit. And just look back down at my drink. It's been difficult, and I'm not going to, deny that. But I feel like we're really finding a place that we can belong, and we can absolutely travel together, just us two. There's no doubt in my mind we'll have so many adventures. Me, you, and Ravi will go see so many things. In fact, I can see it in my crystal ball. I'll start doing like motions around my drink. And I'll do like a little smoke effect or something. And be like, "Whoa, I see great travels in your future."
Okay, sister. Let's. No, that's just sad. Don't do that.
I'll elbow him.
Ow.
But yes, I understand. I would like some time just us. And as for being strong, I need to be stronger before it's just the two of us. Because losing Ravi was bad enough. I won't be the reason for you to be sad like that again, and I can't lose you. So just give me a bit more time. I'm still working on some things, but we will absolutely we will go. We will go together. And it looks like now maybe we'll have a home to return to, and family here with us.
He looks around the room.
If we're wanted.
Some of the faces, of course, is new to him. Some of them, of course, the party, for example. Well, some of the faces are new. Looks at Cliff. He kind of just nods to himself, turns back around, looks at you. I do like our goofball of a family. I just wish they weren't so complicated.
Well, they're slightly
thought-
less complicated than our previous family, so.
Well, at the very least, we can avoid ours.
We will at any cost.
Hmm.
But I did need to speak with you. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's this power that I have, or if it's some kind of weird ID senses or intuition or whatever. But I feel like we may end up seeing more of her some point. I feel like it's becoming inevitable, and I don't know what it is, I don't know why, but I was tormenting myself deciding whether to tell you or not, but I decided you're almost an adult now, almost. Pointed beer. And I trust you with my life, and I know that you trust me with yours, I think. But
well, the debate is still out on that one, but yes, probably.
but we've got each other, and I just want you to make sure that you're prepared for seeing her again, and all the bullshit that that'll bring.
Well, I don't know so much on that last bit, but I will always have your back, and if she does come back, even if I waver a little bit, I won't let her touch you.
Nor are you.
Then we are invincible.
We are toast. Ah. So at the Ponzi party,
Yes.
I remember that there was someone who caught your eye.
No, she was just a friend. It was nothing weird.
I know that it ended up, just being a slight flirtation,
Wait,
a
how do
small
you
friendship.
wait? But obviously, I was talking to somebody for a while. But how do you know about any of the rest of it?
I have eyes, and I watch you like a hawk.
Well, that's a little bit concerning to my privacy, but okay, sister.
I will always watch you like a hawk, but I'll give you your privacy if the time calls for it. But I was wondering, has anyone caught your eye since? Are we getting to that point now where you'll be leaving me and marrying off at some point in the future?
I just said I basically wanted to go adventuring with you, so probably not, but
You might want to bring along a little friend, I don't know.
mm,
Either way, I know I was a bit weird about it at the party, but it's fine with me. Just make sure that they're nice and not there for your chicken.
nobody will ever have a Ravi. I will cut them first. But,
I don't doubt it.
But no, on a serious note, not really. I don't particularly. I don't know. I'm just not very. I don't know how to explain it. I just don't feel like that, really. There's. It's really hard to explain. I like people, but I don't want anything really more than that. I just have a comfort in getting to know people.
Fair enough. Just keep your guard up is all. People are nice, but not always trustworthy.
I know. It's sort of the curse of how we were brought up, I suppose.
I know you know all this.
Oh, wait, was that the word? Ah, I read it in a book. What was it? He's like touching his cheek, thinking about it.
Oh god, what book?
What was the word? It was one of the fancy books.
Fantasy books! Spell book? What book?
No. It's like the book with all the words in it that describes the words. I'm trying to think of what it was called.
Dictionary.
Oh yeah, that one.
Oh, it's the fanciest of all the books. Yes, I've got several myself.
I was
Educated.
I was kind of.
No, guys, no.
That's this conversation. Oh my God.
So I had in my head. I was like, oh my god, what book?
I can't think of what the word is called, but it basically means there's no physical attraction for people, but you can still love them for their person. Whatever that word is.
Familiar. It's not me, but I'm familiar.
I'm aware of the concept.
I don't understand it, but that's
Is
fine.
is it not basically the complete opposite? of you?
Opposite.
Yep.
Okay, so I got all that dream. I'm just gonna give him a pat on his head and just be like, I'm just happy if you're happy. And I feel a lot better. Oh, she doesn't have to worry anymore. Oh my god.
Well, you still have to worry about who ends up dating.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Go through all that. But it's more the
There's no teen pregnancy coming. That's
yeah,
fine.
exactly. And it's more he's not gonna go down the path of our mother. Or maybe it was the what is it? The impact. It's like a trauma thing, rather than
One child goes one way, one child goes the other.
Yeah. Well, I'm just happy for you, and I'm happy you're here with me. I'm glad that I could give you a place that we can hopefully call ours.
And it'll be good to have a actual family. A little bit late, but it'll do.
It's never too late for us. We'll live forever. Invincible, remember? And
Invincible! We can never die.
We'll never die. I want Ravage toast too.
Ravi's just kind of looking between you with a bit of confusion. And then when you raise the glass up, he grabs one with his beak and just raises it, flicks the liquid into his mouth.
Oh no, like Chorus just creeps up, like in the gloom
in
an anime. Like, who was the guy called in Oran High School Host Book who every time there's something like to do with the occult, he's just there in the shadows. Just like,
Nekazawa.
Yeah, Nekazawa, that's it, Nekazawa. She's just there like, oh.
Embrace the Dark Lord and you
I
can live forever.
I hear you want immortality. Shrouded in purple mist. Oh dear.
Vlad raises his glass as well, mug, and takes little swigs. And as the review enjoy your toast, Vlad's kind of like big goof grin. Ravi's like slathered in some kind of liquid down his little flapping neck.
Oh, he's gizzard.
Gizzard. But
He's the stone gizzard now.
Let's get to the dating game in the corner. Esatari, who will be your wizard man tonight?
Switching genre to...
Or both. You never know how she rolls high enough. Both.
Oh my god.
Here for the chat.
If
It
you
always
say
starts
so.
as a chat.
Meanwhile, like 10 minutes later, there's a wizard fight going on.
I would like to... She's still convinced Lupola has no interest in her, okay?
We'll see, I guess. So, you get everyone over at the table. What do you want to say?
Start off with the chapter, like, so how's, the repair work and the rebuilding and stuff going since the battle? We left pretty quickly.
How's the dog?
The dog wasn't theirs. I do want to know, but I've not forgotten the dog. That's if we go to the dwarf place, isn't it? That's where the dog is.
Hubert.
Yeah. I'm aware of these things.
I
know
too.
where dog is located.
At all times. Somehow she learns how to scry and she's like, yep, dog's safe, good. We're done for today.
Only thing I use it for.
Dog backwards is good.
Exactly. How did you know about my secret god? So Lupula looks over, he kind of shrugs with a confirmative form. Yes, they are doing quite well actually. I have received daily reports. It's construction work. I must be honest. It's not very conducive. Usually it's just yes, brick 1 has been placed, brick 2 has been placed, so on and so forth. Every now and then I get the time to actually go over. Most of my day these days are consisted of a lot of paperwork, so as much as I would love to say I'm much more involved, I am rather not. But I guarantee you, before the month is over, we will have at least the base bridge return to its former presence, and then we can start bringing in some construction of as close or better as we can of the buildings that were. Fried, of course, is involved with the construction. He will oversee the general assignment of what building will go where, and whom sits in what house, as is his right as what was essentially the mayor of the place. I'm not really all that involved otherwise, strangely enough. Just a lot of paperwork.
Well, it's good it's coming along.
Hmm.
And what about the new magic laws here? It must be affecting both of you as wizards.
You see Lupilla holds his hands up and you see no rings on his finger. Other
Perhaps
than,
not you.
like, normal rings. Well,
Single, I take it then.
possibly.
I was literally just typing that.
Well, as I mentioned yesterday, I am trying to see if there's a way that I can remove at least some of the more oppressive ways of doing it. Before the vote for rings, there was the choice of putting actual collars on people, and that was just not something I was ever willing to take. Until I get more headroom with the council, there's not much else that can be said about that, but it's working, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, unfortunately, it's a balance. Ilzmar, who like has his hands on the table, you can see he is bound by one of the rings. Myself, however, I don't particularly possess necromancy or enchantment, so it is not as concerning, really. My day-to-day hasn't changed much in any way whatsoever, and in fact, in a weird way, I have accidentally triggered it once or twice to alert of a mugging in the background. Lupilla kind of like looks to the left, puts his arms together with a kind of grin of like, you've been doing what? Oh,
Well,
somebody is skirting the fine lines.
that's certainly a creative way to put it to your own advantage.
Well, if nobody else is going to, be smart about it. That's all well and good, but the problem is, if you do it one too many times and they do realize you're doing it, they are going to arrest you. They are literally duty and law bound to, well, slap a collar on you. An actual collar on you. Well, this might be true, but I would rather risk being arrested for my hijinks than let the possibility of someone get hurt for nothing. And I mean, I would love to use my magic to stop people, but then it gets into murder territory, and that's probably a little bit worse than a little bit of hijinks. There isn't really many spells that would allow me to stop them that wouldn't be enchanted in some way. Have you, you say this, but command is a spell that I'm pretty sure you know how to do. You could just snap your fingers, command them to grovel, tell the person to run. You see Ultimar kind of like looks at him, narrows his eyes a little bit, and you realise that's fully a thing that he can do. Looks at him with that face of like, God damn it, he's right and I hate that. That's what I thought. You can't pretend as a wizard that you don't know how to do it. I like you, Ultimar. You're interesting. Whatever happened to your shop, by the way? Why did you close up? That one is a little bit, it's a story. Don't worry about it. I just didn't really have the time with everything going on, and then an attack, and things got a bit trashed, so I sort of took whatever books were still around and I just moved them to a modest little place in the central district, so...
I knew you weren't continuing your bookshop, but I was wondering if you could perhaps point me in the direction of, do you have any kind of literature that could help me on kind of food and cooking that can help increase constitution and, robustness, particularly for poultry or reptiles?
Lupilla's eyes immediately drift over toward Ravi. Has he... is this some kind of way to stop that thing from getting hurt, or is this just good eating?
Well, I'm not looking to plump him up or anything. No, he gets hurt a lot. And I'm just trying to I've got a bit of an experiment going on really to see if I can slowly kind of increase his fortitude a bit.
I see. Well, if that is the case... Iltsamar kind of like leans forward a little bit. At the same time the pair of them go, try chick Ella seeds. And then they both kind of... They're looking blankly forward, and their eyes slowly turn, their heads slowly turn and look at each other. They both then look to you.
I'm a little bit taken aback. Looking like between them. Trachella seeds, was that?
This.
Thank you. Oh, and what do these seeds do?
They both kind of look at each other, and Iltsamar kind of makes a motion forward. Lupilla kind of like tips an invisible hat, which he might actually be wearing, who knows. Well, in essence, they basically give... it's really best used for, well, as you asked, poultry. Some lizards do okay with it. It's pretty much anything in the food chain that would be able to devour whatever can eat it can enjoy the bonus of it. It was found there a couple of years ago in the Willow Plains, I believe. It's where cockatrices were mostly born. Then they kind of got, of course, transported here, there, and everywhere, but predominantly they are born in the Willow Plains. These seeds were native to the place. And though they can eat, in essence, whatever they really want, but these Chicella seeds, they grew in these vast patches where the dino prince would stomp into the earth in their territories. And myth believed that these dinosaurs would be packed by one of the stronger cockatrices. It would freeze a stone in place, whether one by one the weather over time would tear the body down into base elements. The babies of other cockatrices would be born in the one remains, and there's a lot of cycles of life, death, and stone that comes into it. These Chikella seeds are supposedly grown in the stone of dinosaurs, while natural terrain grows around the child. They are sort of like miracle cures and fast ways to speed up the birth or growth of a child cockatrice. But the thing that nobody really tells you about, unless he turns to his right and looks at Iltsamar, then back at you, are a learned individual, is that it just generally works for cockatrice. If you just put it in their food, let them have a little nibble, it'll allow them to just digest it better, and over about a month, they will start seeing potent growth. And
Oh my god.
I'm being very serious, by the way. If you're going to feed that huge bird over there, he will get bigger. he will uh, he will get tougher too. His fur will become more scale-like. His feathers, sorry, translation error. So just be wary. He will get bigger and he will get denser, but that's a lot of chicken.
Yeah, it is.
This whole time, like Estari's like pulled out a notebook and she's been taking notes, like nodding, her tongue stuck out a little bit. When you say like the chicken will get big, and she like
Says things
pauses,
out loud.
and she's like,
a lot of chicken.
perhaps,
Sounds delicious.
perhaps maybe the next project will be looking for a growth inhibitor. She's like talking to herself but out loud. Growth inhibitor. I don't know where that contradicted. I don't know. I'll focus on one thing at a time. I'm assuming these seeds aren't readily available on the market.
Well, not exactly. Ilsamar leans forward a little bit. If it helps whatsoever, I can actually get a guy. I know someone nearby. He's a little sketchy and it might take a week, but I can get you them.
Really? That? How? I. Well, yes, that'd be amazing. How much do you think we're talking? I know we can afford it. It's fine.
Well, I don't.
I look through Trafalgar's gems I have.
I can probably afford it. You give one to everyone in the room. It's like, yeah, I can probably still afford it.
I'm just still like, it's Trafalgar's.
He'll never know. I don't particularly. Usually, I just get antique books from him, but they're usually very expensive because antique.
Like eyes go big again at the word of antique books.
Lupilla's like grinning. But it shouldn't be more than 100 gold pieces because that's the base for my books. So around about that, if not less.
Do these seeds store well? I'm not sure how long we're planning on sticking around.
Oh yes, they can easily last somewhere between I don't know, 20 and 30 years. It's
Wow.
well, they're cockatrice seeds. Come on, of course.
Sure. Well then, yes, please. I'd be so grateful if you could get a hold of some. Thank you so much.
Utsumar nods, kind of a little smile on his face. Lupilla is like just looking between you two. If he wasn't more of a professional, like I have to deal with a lot of people every day kind of person, he'd be like elbows on the table, arms up, big grin on his face, chin on the table, legs kicking in the distance, looking at the pair of you like, oh.
He ships it.
Well, I don't know if it's needed anymore, but my other question, I'll look towards Lupilla this time, is, well, you know, currently our primary form of transport is the airship, and it's about kind of like, you know, growing fresh produce on it. We've recruited a gardener while we're in Janasta.
Hmm.
And I was wondering, like, obviously, I like gesture around. This isn't, well, does Sodden have to import all their produce, or is there a way to grow stuff in optimal climates?
Mm. Well, this has been a problem for many years, if I'm going to be honest. I'm not, well, you can tell I'm not exactly a druid, um, but we usually just deal with mushrooms and the like, anything that can grow in the dark environments.
She claps her hands together and like, oh, mushrooms.
But there is a little bit of importing, and of course exporting, because trade as it is, usually between Dolan and Aelin. So they usually, despite what it looks like, the dwarves do have their own crops, quite a lot of it. So they send us some varied foods, we send them some varied materials from below that they can use to create their weapons with. And every now and then I go over as a favour and forage and or enchant some things and so on and so forth. But if you want some good foods, you're probably better going over there. We have a scant clad amount of ingredients here. But if it's something like pepper and salt and the like, I mean, obviously we have that.
I just wondered if you'd had to, kind of develop other systems.
Oh,
well.
Well, Ikenala looks around the room. He looks at Iltmar for a second, looks him up and down. Iltmar's looking at him with a kind of look of curiosity. Well, there's a sort of nope, I can't be specific about it, but I have been cultivating some fresh ingredients in one of my dens. Using he again looks around, looks at Ultsamar, looks at you, looks around the room. Ethical means of workers. That it's very difficult to be specific. It's frustrating. But we've been growing fresh herbs, spices, fruit, veg for about, let's say 12 years now. You're more than welcome to come and have a look at some point.
I would love that.
Actually, saying that, I do actually need to brief you all at some point, so after tonight is over, I want to bring you all back to my one of my tents. We'll leave it at that. I cannot be specific out here. Just so we can go over everything we will talk about when we go to meet the council.
God, when it changed to brown bear. I don't know why you did that.
Where's that?
Bear's just here saying, debrief. I don't know why it's a bear. Oh, I must have clicked the drop down menu.
Well, that sounds. I'm looking forward to that tomorrow, and I'll get send our gardener a message to look into getting some kind of mushrooms and such that we can start growing aboard.
Well, when we do go, I will make sure to bring some of my finer ingredients for your new gardener, and maybe some of the growth sprays and potions that I have concocted. It might help.
Give our hands a little clap together, like, oh, so exciting! Oh, and another thing, and she'll look back towards Ultima and say, I noticed our reluctant friend Jasper isn't here.
He does
I have to
kind
go
of
through my notes to find it.
Yes. I'm not quite sure what happened to him after he worked around the corner. He kind of disappeared after the battle. I think he was last working at one of the bars in Lowtown, but I haven't seen him in a while. We did extend the offer to come here. He was on the front line with both Kira and Enriel, so they were close. So I can only assume he got on with his life, to be honest.
That's good. He did seem perpetually taken aback by circumstance. But willing to throw himself into it.
Yes, he was a strange but a good man. I might check up on him soon, see if he's still around. He pulls out a little notebook that's stashed underneath his jacket in a little pocket. Just writes down, puts it away.
Thank you both so much for your advice and help this time. I still don't know how to tell the time down here.
Lupilla just leans forward. Iltsamar also looks like he's about to say something, and in unison, they say it is exactly 1:35 p.m.
It's only just the afternoon.
You see the pair of them look at each other with that face of, wait, do you know that? Because they kind of like lean back and look at each other again. Is that kind of... Are we basically the same character here?
Esatara's got a type.
They both have the keen mind feat, by the way.
Oh! Does Anessa also go, it's 1:35?
like Tourette's like unprompted, she just shouts out the time.
Telling Vlad to pace himself. It's only 1:45 p.m. Vlad, pace
He's had the same drink. He better have the same drink.
He's been a good boy.
He's
Yeah,
been
he's been
sipping
nursing
for a while.
What you haven't seen is every time his glass gets empty, one of us sneakily refills it, and you just haven't noticed yet.
Someone's got like a...
It looks fuller than last time.
Unseen servants doing it.
I was going to say...
No.
Somehow,
That's the only spell he knows.
someone's got a mage hand holding the bottle underneath the table and pouring it.
I was gonna be gross and just say it's kind of rather just regurgitating it
I mean, they are very close.
Not that close, Jesus.
Probably wouldn't care. He'd be like, oh, free beer.
I thought it, then I thought no, and then I thought no, I've got to share that.
Sharing is caring.
I do appreciate you sharing it.
So, they kind of sit up. Both look at you. Lupilla kind of gives you a nod and walks over to Fried. Iltsamar, as he sits up, takes a step back, just kind of looks at you and just says, I'm glad you came back. It's been good to see you.
It's been good to see you again too. And if he's alive, Chip has missed you.
You say that?
Schrodinger's Chip.
He's alive.
If he's alive, she says that. I repeat, Esatari knows if he's alive or dead. I don't know if he's alive or dead.
Oh god. Is this where we find out?
The temptation every time to be like, yeah, so how's your animal doing, by the way? And you're just there like, no, don't make me.
Just a insert correct response.
Honestly, this was me with like my bank account for so long. I'd be like, if I can't see it, it's fine.
Exactly.
But occasionally I check and I'll just be like, oh yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised actually. But then
£4?
sometimes I'm like, oh my god, that's way worse than I
Yeah,
thought.
sometimes like, what? How did this happen?
Yes. Because I didn't check it for 2 weeks. I'm a lot better now. I'm a spendaholic in
Responsible adult.
recovery. Well, gotta be. You're doing a fucking mortgage now.
Yeah, girl. Yeah. So,
Okay, filter my last smile and go and cuddle with her uncle.
She cuddles with her uncle a lot.
Hey!
Should we be
God.
concerned?
He's
I
my
think we should.
favourite family member.
Is it family or is it one of those people that's like, yeah, that's my uncle, but it's really not?
wink, 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 wink.
No,
He's
no, no.
my,
He is my uncle.
He's her biological uncle.
Yes.
Mhm.
A legitimate uncle.
Mhm.
Nothing dodgy going on here. It's
Mhm.
not that kind of D&D game.
Mhm.
He's
Mhm.
not my uncle.
Oh God.
He's
What are you
also not
doing?
her daddy.
Oh no.
He's my daddy's brother.
Oh,
What are you,
no.
what are you doing, Uncle?
Oh no!
No! I'll ask him if he's still hooking up with the girl from
Oh, the
Alden.
barmaid. The barmaid from Alden.
it was the horse, I don't know, the
Mhm,
lady.
mhm.
The horse
Oh,
lady.
the horsekeeper.
Yeah.
What's she
Stable master.
called?
It began with a Y.
Ela.
Ela, yeah. Yeah,
Gives
she
you-
was cute.
Is he
gives you
still
that
hooking up with
face.
Ela?
Give you that face of like, oh come on, we're starting a conversation with this.
Oh, you're banging, uncle. They're close,
Sits
okay.
on his knee and goes, so
I
who
was
you
just-
pegging?
I was just giving an example of the conversations we're having.
I love that
Now
you're
we're all
close enough to
invested.
talk about your fuck buddies with your uncle. Please do tell us. We're all invested now. Is he still fucking Ela?
Depends. Is that the conversation that you start?
Please say yes, because that's really funny.
Hey! No, it's not how she started.
Damn.
That's where it ends up.
That's what.
It would just be included in it. I just asked, like, how you doing?
How's Ela?
So
Yeah.
you've not moved on yet?
Nah, not just yet. There's a couple of strings tying me around.
Yeah, there is.
She'll raise an eyebrow and like put her fingers together. Is there?
No. Well, no.
I
Maybe. I don't know.
Are
No.
you still helping out the refugees?
Oh, yeah, of course I am. You said I
Spending
should.
lots of time there.
Kind of. They've sort of got this little. I don't really know what you call it. A yurt. That I've been living in that little rustic town that you last saw us all in. And I got this. You see, he's still wearing the arm with the two spider legs thing on it. Yeah, just bit of money in the pocket on the side. So until I get my smithing stuff back online, it was a bit of a weird one for a little while you guys were off doing your adventure. But it's all good now. Yeah, helping out here and there. Everybody seems to be doing fine. Apparently they're rebuilding. And they're doing a good job too, from what I've heard. Apparently the bridge is nearly done. So when that's all concocted, if you want to have a little wander down, I'm readily available.
Absolutely loved it there, so I would like to see it. So you're still seeing Ela? That's still working out? Very nice lady.
He immediately starts scratching the back of his head with a grin on his face, like, yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's whatever it is. She's really lovely.
She is really lovely.
You see, he just somehow he can't find the words.
Can't imagine Dad if he saw you. You never thought you'd settle down despite all his.
He holds a finger forward, near enough to put it to your mouth. Like, that's a bit too far. We're not quite that.
Of course not.
I'm
Sorry.
a free spirit. Come on. Can't tie
I like
this.
his armor for the area, like, see?
Okay, but I've taken on jobs before when I needed the money. I've already sold all of the little nitpicky bits I needed just to keep by while I'm here. So this is a deposit on my future.
Of course.
Future with Ela.
Saying that from the next table over.
Yeah. Shouting over.
Speaking of Dad, have you heard from him?
Actually, no. Not heard a peep from any of the family. In fairness, I am slightly hard to get hold of. Why, I'm assuming you haven't either, then?
No. I just thought that, well, you know Dad's gonna blame you for me
Nah, he can blame me all he wants.
adventuring. I just thought he might have gotten in contact with you.
No, I think he just doesn't want much to do with me at the moment, so... Oh well. I'll send him another letter at some point. He can't ignore me forever.
Theron is potentially on our future destinations to visit.
Hmm.
And I admit I'm a bit worried.
Well, that whole thing with the new bigwig, the Heritage Lord, he practically walked in several months ago, and at the very least, that side with the loon, everything's changed there from what I've learned. He walked in, a lot of the structure is currently still the same, but it sounds like he's trying to dismantle the old way, and sorry, this is me. Oh, choking on something. Ah.
Don't die, we need to know the rest of the story.
The treasure is
Almost.
hidden in.
Is that the name of the place, or is that you dying?
No, that was me dying. The treasure is hidden in. It's the place.
We need to know.
Oh, fucking hell.
Are you okay?
Yeah, no, I had something in the back of my throat.
Are you
Don't
Giggity.
be off.
Not that kind of stream, thanks.
Annie, are you okay?
Are you okay?
Are you okay, Annie? You've been hit by, you've been struck by a smooth criminal.
We have no timing. Where was I?
I'm worried
You're
my dad
dying?
is gonna tell me off if I go back home.
And some guy's changing some
Yeah.
place.
Yes. Yeah, so the Heritage Lord, new king of the castle, and possibly of all Theron, because he's supposedly a destined something that is meant to come to Theron, take over, super powerful, big scary, but wants to change things for the better, and everyone's in a bit of a tiff about it. So maybe that's why. There was apparently a batch of warriors that were sent over to the Willow Plains as well.
Mm.
But that one's not as widely known, so try to keep that one under your hat.
Hey, please.
Okay, maybe I feel like I should try and get in contact. Make sure everyone's still doing good.
Hmm. Well, I'll try and get some letters delivered express, and hopefully one of them will reach them, and they might give me some kind of reply. Again, I don't particularly know how long I'm gonna be here, but at least it's somewhere stable for at least a couple of weeks. Don't have any excuses then.
Well, I'm not sure how long we're gonna be here, but we'll find out at some point.
Well, while you are here, if you're free at any point, I'm still around. We can go have a look around if you want. Have a look at some of the districts. Maybe peruse some stores. Maybe chat about old times. That kind of thing.
Yeah. So much, yay!
And there's the smile. Good. You look like you have one too few drinks in your hand. So why don't we... Stands up.
Yeah.
He wanders over toward the bar. I will say by the end of the conversation those two have had, would, on a rough guess anyway, would Lycoris and Mr. Loss have left after picking up a drink or finishing their conversation in general? Or would they still be around?
I think they probably still be around.
Mm-hmm.
What's their conversation?
We'll find
I
out in
don't
a
know.
minute. Actually, we'll find out now, just in case. Mr. Loss walks over. This, of course, is after the whole Trapper freed, Trapper Brewin. Walks over. He makes his presence known. He's not walking with a quiet step like he normally does. He walks with a herd step, with an intention. As he looks over toward you, he gets enough into view, but not close enough to be in your space.
I'll just gesture him to come and join me next to the bar. I'm just looking at all the bottles, so.
So, I've been having a lot of conversations today, and we haven't really spoken about certain things yet.
What I've been waiting for all session.
Lycoris freezes and then carries on like nothing was, like carries on looking at the bottles, playing it off. Well, we've been very busy.
That's not a good excuse, and you know it. We've been on an airship for a couple of days. I'm not gonna lie. I'm stressed about thinking of where to even start having this conversation. And it's not because of you. It's... you probably can understand more so than anybody here. With everything jumbled in my mind like this, I don't know where we really stand. But I would like to... You almost hear an audible gulp. Try to start something new with you. From the start. No past lives, no previous anything, we go from point zero. Because there is no way that we can then misconstrued who we are to each other if who we are to each other in the time from now. You know where I'm going with this. Are you open to that?
She'll push her hair awkwardly behind her ear to try and distract from the fact that she looks very flushed, and she will say, yeah, I can get on board with that.
Okay. Then...
And then I'll hold out my hand and say, I'm Lycora's stone. The vein.
Wow, you're
exactly
lying.
like that.
Wow, lying to me on the first date. I see.
This is not a date, surely.
Well, that's probably a wise decision, given that this is, in essence, your bar, and I, a stranger, have just walked in. Or maybe is it some kind of interesting flirting tactic on my behalf, Miss Devane?
Oh,
She's like trying not to look like she's like. And when I say melting, I don't mean like she's swooning. She's literally like
mortified.
You know when you're like, like when you're so like, oh god, I don't know what to say.
Out of this situation, no, make us stop.
She's that right now. Well, I said,
He kind of like grins.
She's like red and like fanning her face slightly with her hand. Well,
Miss
you
Devane,
haven't
do
even-
you need a towel or something? Would you like a glass of water? Are you okay?
You haven't said what your name is.
You're right, I haven't, and yet I've gotten you so flushed.
Oh my god.
Hell.
No! He's really not. Jesus, he went from 0 to 100.
She's like looking slightly around the bar, like who else is here? Who else is
They're all
hearing?
looking.
Who else is hearing this?
You hear the...
Holding up a mirror, just looking at it.
Yeah, she's pretending to do her makeup, but Anessa's watching. Your name?
He's like grinning.
I kick him.
Mm.
Your name?
Periwinkle.
Sorry, what was that? Misty? Oh, lovely to meet you, Misty.
This time he's like... He's still grinning, but it's reduced.
Oh.
You know, that's fair enough. Mr. Los Orion holds out his hand.
I will shake it.
Shakes your hand. And then, just looking into your eyes for a second. I have never seen you more red in my life, I don't think. Stranger.
I'm gonna just start reaching around for bottles and trying to think of what I'm meant to do in this situation because it's very foreign.
I'm going to just forego the cutesy for a second. Do you just want to grab a chair and just talk?
works for me.
He nods, grabs a just any bottle of wine he can get hold of, not even looking. Grabs 2 glasses. Did you have a preference?
I dig through specifically to the one thing that I know I like, because I know where everything is.
Okay. He slides that one back. The 2 champagne glasses readied. Walks over to the nearest surface, places the glasses down.
I'll go over. I'm assuming Esatari and her uncle aren't there yet.
Not yet. He takes the bottle from you. You see with his thumb and pointer, grabs the rim of the bottle, and you see with this finesse, the cork is slowly subdued and pulled free until you hear it just pops out. And then very gently and slowly, like almost like cradling the bottle, pours in for the pair of you. Places it underneath the counter, grabs his. So, we are currently exploring the lands, gathering, to a degree, your allies, and trying to get everybody's lives in check. Is that the rough idea of what we're all going to be doing? Because I would like to know when things can move between us.
I don't know what the plans are just yet. I don't know where we're meant to go from here. I think we'll be back here sooner or later to help some of our friends with their issue. They need to go up to Penumbra, so I don't know what's happening or the timeline.
Well, I check in a little distantly, but with them every now and again, just to keep a general check on the who's who. I've been taking notes on everybody, and every now and again I get sendings from some of my informants about the whereabouts of their enemies. Luckily, but also slightly concerning, it seems like everybody is laying low. Archduke Magnifolia in particular concerns me. I've already spoken with Bruin. He deems it odd, as I myself do, that nothing occurred in Janasta, despite him being fully aware of his new form. What is your take on it? From what you've told me, even while you were here, a place not really sized for an attack. They struck at all of you, but they're not going to do it in the heart of their own territory. Why is this?
Oh, he's waited long enough for Brewin. I doubt another year or so would put him off. He's been chasing him for 2,000 years now. I don't think another year is really going to put him off.
But why is he delaying at all? If he really desires him so much and he's willing to attack him in places like this, but not in his hometown, there has to be some reason they're letting him live at the very least. He has the power to subdue all of you if he did it right. But they're not using it. I know we have veered from the initial topic a little bit, but I only ask out of concern for your safety too. And if these people are going to remain with you, I want to be ready to destroy their enemies. But I must learn of their thought processes first.
There's been a lot of changes. I think he's purely calculating the right course of action. People who were written off have come back. He's lost a big ally in Vantress, and Legion is gone and has been replaced by, well, a reincarnated Ishikyo. So there's a lot of players on the chessboard, and he's clearly just reevaluating what his play is going to be. There's no point dwelling on it at this point.
I have a frustration about people like that. Those who are calculating and willing to wait are the worst, because it means they're just as difficult to get to. And I'd rather snuff out such elements before they become a problem. But we don't particularly have such access, so I suppose I will let it go. I am glad that Vantress has gone, however. I might not have known much of her, but her very presence is a concern. Or was.
Well, I'm sure you'll be interested to see Penumbra Keep when we do visit.
I would. I want to know as much about you and your past as I can. Without letting it flavour our future, that is.
She scoffs on her drink slightly. Well, I feel it would be pertinent to let you know that there is someone at Penumbra Keep who I am closely associated with.
He raises an eyebrow.
And then she goes red and says, "Not in that way. More of a parent-child relationship."
You have a child.
I mean, it's very complex.
But do you have one through the normal means?
No.
Okay, that's slightly less involved. That I can deal with. Not like it particularly matters, but if you did. You see, he kind of like goes a little bit red and looks away and starts like scratching his head. He starts thinking to himself, and then you see him going down the mental spiral of like, oh my god, but what if she did have a kid? And then I'm with her and I have to learn how we're gonna go together, but then there's a kid involved, and it's like, am I the dude? And then two figures come walking over. A Satari and Unky Unk.
Sorry, would you like a drink? She has full panic eyes.
I'll get the glasses. Immediately runs over, just grabs glasses.
I teleported.
Wasn't me.
She was like, "It's way too awkward here. I'm out."
You looked panicked and I was like, bye.
Like, I'll leave you to enjoy this conversation.
It's very kind of you. Yes. We would like a drink. I say, look at my uncle.
He places two glasses down in front of the pair of you, and before Ulrich can even say anything, the glass is in front of him, and the bottle's being poured, and He's just looking around like, I guess I'll have some. What is this wine? Champagne? Looks over at you, Estari. No, sorry, Licorice.
It's it's sparkling wine.
I'm more of a. Yeah, that's fine. Picks it up, takes a little sip, and then immediately you can see on his face the revulsion. But he just goes, that's yeah.
I'm gonna pat him on the arm and speak into his head. Suck it up. It looks like she's about to have a meltdown.
You just hear back, I'm trying, but it's just so bad. Oh, I need something with substance. Oh my god, this is so bad. Sorry, how do people drink this?
I'm
With willpower.
You're like, suck it up, sunshine.
And I'll also cast a little mental thought towards Chorus. All good? Everything okay? And they're like looking at her, making little glances at the trapper, like,
I believe there was some light flirting earlier, and it's very complex.
You'll just smile and be like, good.
And then,
phase 1 complete.
and then after,
I'll have to tell him he's being a good boy later.
and after, as soon as Esatari's finished talking to her, Lycoris is going to suddenly realise that they've not had the awkward conversation about Anriel yet, and then it immediately sets the anxiety going again. I'm playing it cool. I'm cool. So how are the refugees doing?
I'll elbow my uncle.
He's just currently like looking into the glass, and in his mind, you're still hearing his thoughts. You're just hearing, how do they make something taste so bad? It doesn't make any sense. Why not just get more beer? Beer's okay. Or like cider, or... And then you just kind of nudge him, he's like, yep. What are we doing? Sorry.
How are the refugees? How has it been serving with the people from Alden? Is it going well? Have you made friends?
He kind of
redder as she
Estari's lip is beginning to tremble, like Horace saying, "Have you made friends?" Trying to fight back a smile.
He's like looking between you three, and just like his eyebrows have lowered.
You remember my friend like Horace, of course.
Yeah, of course. Do I need to? Is there something I'm interrupting with you three, or I feel like there's something going on here?
I'm just gonna give him a dead-eyed look, like, and his head, and then I'll just say to his head, "This is why you've never been able to keep down a woman."
No! Shots fired.
You just see his face like just distress, and he just full like glares at you almost with that face of disbelief. Like you see his mouth slowly open.
I'll cut him off and I'll say, "Well, so according to Lupula, they've rebuilt almost finished rebuilding the bridge, so it seems to be going along quite well. My uncle here has actually asked if I'd like to go down and see the progress at some point." I say, clapping him on his shoulder slightly harder than necessary.
halfway through that, you do hear, "You are lucky. You are my favourite."
I'll just toss my head back, look up at him with a big smile, and flutter my eyelashes.
I'll respond to Esatari, and then immediately regret it. But I'll say, "Oh yes, I was having that conversation with Kier and Anriel earlier, and they were talking about how Alden had been repaired." And then I kick myself because I was trying to avoid that topic, but then I try to play it cool, and I'm like, "Has anyone else, Alden, come to see you?"
No. I think what was the Smithy's name again?
Hubert?
Oh,
I think Hubert is still in the Dwarven city with
oh,
Biscuit.
oh, that's great news. I'm gonna be like looking as subtly as I can towards Mr. Lost to see if there was any reaction to the mention of Kier or Anriel or anything like that.
I'm also just gonna say to Head, you're making it weirder.
I'm gonna be like, I know, but
Make an insight
I was
check.
hoping to have a conversation with Anriel before we got to this point.
What is Esatari's passive? Oh no, what's Esatari's insight?
Insight. Passive or general? I don't...
General, you don't have a passive technically.
Oh,
I've got a passive something. I think it's investigation.
you know what? I may not be good at this, but I'm very good at sussing people out.
Every skill technically has a passive element. It's just perception's the most common.
Yeah, I've also got a +5 to passive intelligence. That's what I was trying to remember. My insight +5.
Ooh.
Oh.
Oh.
So there's a lot of information going on for you right now, Esatari. You're just like looking between everyone, trying to juggle conversations in your mind, and it's all just like, shit, I'm missing something as you're looking amongst them.
I am holding 3 conversations in my defense.
Literally. Lycoris, as you say, Kieran Anriel, there's no real reaction to Kier because he hasn't held much of the stage since you've been here. He's too sickly to really do too much for long. So he'd be no threat to anyone in any sense. The mention of Anriel, there is this very fine motion of a slight head turning, a head curling almost, from the back of Mr. Loss's head. You don't really see his face or anything, but the sheer fact of someone with such typically slow, controlled movements, even that much tells you that he's thought of something about Anriel, whether or not that's you two having something together, but he's concerned about that relationship at the very least with you.
Oh no.
Always been a little bit possessive this early on. Just saying.
Yeah. I am a free agent. We have only just met each other, okay?
It is getting the levels of
You spoke someone else's name.
I guess to give him credit, they did hold hands earlier, and then she walked upstairs with him. So, but she was only gone for like 5-10 minutes.
Which is, yes, I just put them to bed.
Yeah.
Together.
Little kiss on the forehead each, and then downstairs. I'm gonna look at Esatari in a way that says, "Speak to me, please," like in my head, because I can't do that without injuring her.
Yes, darling.
I don't think he likes Anriel.
You sure you're not just being a bit...
No, when I said his name, he did this weird thing with his head. I swear I'm not crazy. Nessa would understand.
all the way around.
Nessa would understand if she could hear my brain.
I'd understand him.
I'll just give a tiny little nod and just touch Mr. Loss. So, Mr. Loss, have you spent much time in Stoddard from your past that you can remember? I thought I was doing a good change of subject, then remembered that he doesn't have lots of his memories, so it's just
Not cool, man, not cool.
It is a little awkward, given that I don't particularly know which is which. So, a little bit of no, a little bit of yes. Not going to lie, most of it is mercantile work, so it got me through.
So it's just nodding, is it? It must be confusing and hard. You know, memory loss is something I thought was quite rare in the past, but it seems like it happens to everyone these days. Just based on my experience over the last couple of months.
We have an alarmingly high rate in our group, at least.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't think it was that big of a thing, but apparently it is.
Do you remember that time Trafalgar woke up and he had no memory either, and he was naked in his room?
Yes, but I think that happens more frequently.
Maybe to Trafalgar. I mean, not so much Trafalgar anymore.
That used to happen to me every weekend.
To be fair, you guys do know that was a byproduct of him having soap.
Yeah.
It was a drug-induced.
Yep.
Yeah, this is just Lycor is trying to change the subject.
So, what is your preferred drink of choice, Mr. Loss? We're having this fine bubbly. I say, giving my uncle a little kick in the ankle.
He takes another swig and goes, mmm.
Delicious.
Yummy.
Yep. That's alcohol.
It hurts.
But what's your poison?
No, I usually use arsenic.
No,
Wolfsbane kind of works
Oh my
sometimes.
Mr. Lot, she means it.
It comes alive with conversation.
It's the colloquialism. What's the poison means? What drink do you prefer to have?
In all fairness, she said it knowing that he probably did use poison.
I don't know why you didn't just say that then, but little bits of rum, little bits of sparkling. I'm not a big drinker particularly. Yourself?
Oh, well, just, from where I grew up, a little light ale was kind of the most common drink, so that's what I'm partial to. But I have developed a taste for wine on my travels. I glance over towards Anessa. Vodka, when the situation calls for it.
Prost!
And Aldir, what do you like to drink? Perhaps we've got some in the bar I can get for you.
He's looking at you with that face of like someone who's seen a beautiful sea after being in a desert for months. Oh, I really hope you do. I will have quite literally any ales or any ciders right now.
Oh,
Just some kind of broth or brew.
I can do. And then she just goes, Nyom! It's just like, for some reason, very interested in all the different mugs. And she's just she's making sure they're all clean and, picking the nice. And then she looks at the selection and she's really taking her time to think about which is the best drink.
Estar will just smile at Miss Loss. We are from, a country village. Town.
And when I've wasted as much time as I think is socially acceptable, I will come back with the big-ish glass I can find of it and slide it towards him.
He immediately looks at you, gives you a nod and a thumbs up, grabs it, looks at it, just nods to himself. This is the time. And then just starts drowning himself in it, like.
I did give him the nicest one that the patrons used to like the best.
I'll just blink at it a few times and look over towards the other two and be like, I am sorry.
It's useful having worked here, knowing where everything is.
Please sit down. Mr. Loss turns around and goes, You worked here. Do you mean work or worked?
Estari's grinning.
Well, I lived here for most of my youngish years. I do, odd jobs like getting the water, stocking the bar, helping Orlinth with clients occasionally, and then like cleaning the carpets and washing the windows. And I'm gonna reel off as many mundane things in the hope that I can bury the
Helping
bit about
Orlin
helping
with the
clients.
clients.
I feel like I have to be honest, but I don't have to be too honest.
Well, I just was asking more so out of curiosity. It wasn't, even if it was the other kind, it
No,
doesn't mean
what?
anything.
I mean, oh,
You've had a life before.
yeah, but
That's...
I didn't work. I was never in the room with the client. I was usually
Washing them down afterwards.
I was usually on the other side of the door, causing mental pain when I was instructed to. Just normal stuff.
He raises an eyebrow.
I didn't touch it. I was just, Orlinth had some clients that would like specific things that the girls couldn't do. And, it was easy for me, and, it kept me alive. So, it was a win for me. I got the sustenance I needed, and they got paid.
He leans back,
It's all
arms
just
folded.
As Tari is speaking to Uncle's head, like, is she trying to advertise her skills?
And and I'm gonna just start doing the typical thing that people do when they're anxious, and they just start rambling. It's like, well, you see, as a Dampnir, I have to, I don't get sustenance through food, so I have to do whatever my specific one is, and my specific one is psychic power, so I have to take psychic energy from people. And
If like Horace's hand is like on the table or on the glass, Sarah's just gonna reach out and grab it.
And now I don't do anything like that. Now I just do tarot card readings, or I do it when we fight people, and then I'm gonna down my drink. Wine, and I will go and get another bottle of wine, but I'm gonna go get it from outside. Sure.
In the
I'm
short,
gonna go to the well.
in the short time that I've known her, she has done two different things. Firstly, she has scared the ever-loving hell out of me from a distance, and second, that. Is she okay?
Sarah's gonna look at Miss Lost and be like, "What did you do?"
He turns and looks at you with that face of disbelief. What do you... I haven't done anything. And then his eyes kind of turn and looks away, looks toward her, looks back. Oh, I did sort of finally had the conversation with her, so...
Well, I'm glad you're finally getting your act together.
Well, I did...
And I'll give her a smile.
He points at you for a second. You're very scary.
You don't
Like,
even
hey
know.
guys, no one's ever said that to me before.
What a compliment.
Oh my! Did you hear that, Uncle? Oh, I've grown.
He's like looking between you, and he gives him a wide-eyed stare. What? She is. She's probably the only person I've ever seen who actually listens and absorbs the information. If you use that for nefarious means, I honestly don't think anyone would survive you.
You're in my good books.
I was being serious, but okay.
So was I.
Oh. Thank you. Although just like look between you, he's like elbows on the table, like holding the drink up to his mouth, just like.
I'll tug on his sleeve and say, "Let's go sit by the fire for a bit."
He nods grabs his tankard, grabs a lovely seat, pats the side. There you go.
Yeah,
So.
I'll come back in with a wet face. I've like splashed my face to cool down.
Why do I feel like of all the people here, you are definitely the type to dunk your head in?
Oh, 100%. Like her little side bangs are
So
sopping wet.
Just reset the brain a little bit.
And then I think when she comes back in, she's just gonna say, I think I need to have a little bit of time to process. I will be back in a little while. I'm just gonna go sit somewhere quiet for a bit.
Okay.
Then she's gonna go sit in her room and contemplate her life choices, like a teenager.
Mr. Loss will play temporary bartender. So, I'm going to do big air quotes quick. End it there, because it's getting on to 11, and I'm pretty sure some of you want to go to bed. We will end on, well, possibly a good note. Are you all wanting to have more conversations, or do you want to end the night there?
Good with ending the night there.
I'm good with ending the night.
In game, I meant.
I think Chorus would want to speak to Anriel at some point, but other than that,
Well, yeah, you've invited him into your room already.
Did you? When did you invite me into your room?
she said if she's not going to be downstairs, she'll be in her room. And then she had all the shit that just went down with Mr. Lost, so that probably wasn't the wisest idea.
Maybe not.
But it's a fun plot device, huh?
It is.
It's a fucking typical red herring.
Yep.
He sees her going into Lycoris's room, and he sees Anriel going in, and he's like, "Oh my god, what's going on?" And then Anriel closes the door, and Lycoris is like,
and they never communicate it, and it just goes into a massive, big misunderstanding.
Yeah, and then
K-drama time.
And then, 7 episodes later, she's like, "All he did was tell me how to talk to you." Yeah.
And now the damage is done.
That's my intention. I fully intend for Anriel to come in the room and then Mr. Lost be like, "Why is he going in her room?"
And then he places a bomb outside your door and kills him.
I feel like if he did that, Lycoris wouldn't like him anyway.
Okay. If the majority is everybody would then be into bed, I will do sequences. So, first, in the middle of the night, you grab your rooms. Some of the rooms had already been claimed, but the stuff that anyone who's not sleeping here anyway is left behind, they take with them and head to the upper city and otherwise. As you all make your way nestled and you get as comfy cozy as you can, some of the beds have been changed to a degree enough that the silken sheets aren't the same. You've got warm, large blankets in some of them. Good old Brewin. As you enjoy rest in a very fluffy, comfy bed, you feel strange. Good strange, though. You feel light as you begin to fall asleep. You feel your body as you hit the pillow. You feel a tenderness. You feel your being warms almost. You dream about a single island, mostly unassuming. This place that has a single large building with an image of a large knightly figure with giant spread angelic wings stood as a guardian on top of this building. The building itself looks similar to a church. no stained glass windows. They have normal windows. They have multitudes of them, seemingly there's multiple floors. All around it are gentle white grassy fields that would give you the assumption of snow, but there is gentle coast in around even that. On either side of Mount Menning and Dignity, on the beach fronts, people are taking pictures as best they can, like magic nonsense. Some people are painting, trying to paint the scene, live the times. At the doors and the general outskirts of the church-like building, there are these tall walls, sort of in a castle-like sense. They're trying to obscure as much as they can from people getting in. You can still see the building pretty well. It's on like a mountainous slope almost. There are an assortment of very well-armed guards that patrol around the edges, each clad in similar shining silvered, though not literally silvered, it's just silver in glow, plate armour. Heads always exposed, most of them thin-haired or like ponytails, but rarely ever do they have like full head on the sides or back otherwise. Each of them have either a glaive, a spear, or some other kind of long-range weapon, as well as a shield on the other arm. You see all of these small figures moving in the distance. However, your vision draws you into the building itself. Looking inside, there are 3 floors worth, each of them guided by multiple staircases. At the back of the hallway, the entrance, there's another similar steel-clad statue stood with a long spear of some kind, a large tower shield that guards its front, long wings that almost caress the figure itself, moving forward and around its front, a winged helm, and inside are currently multiple figures. You kind of don't see the figures as actual people. You see them as these shades of different colours. You see one golden shadowy figure with these golden outlines for eyes. Next to that you see a much shorter, maybe about 5'9"-ish, silvery figure with little golden eyes. And you see multiple other similarly silver and or darker grey kind of figures aligned with them. They're all looking up toward the statue. The doors to the place are locked. The room itself is otherwise barren. It's empty. They look up at this figure of some kind of purpose, and their light starts to beam a little bit brighter. Each of these figures get a little bit stronger or more potent, more alive. And as you see that, you feel yourself as if you are actually physically floating in that space, because you yourself feel like there's something there for you. You can feel this lightness from that space. And after you feel that sensation, your eyes slowly flicker too, as the morning comes. And whether or not anyone wakes you, we will decide next time. But there's yours. Esadari. You, in the middle of the night, similarly, again, you don't particularly dream. You can choose to dream, that's up to you. But you, just before you wake up, there's this image that comes into your head of a wonderful full of energy little boy who's all too familiar to you, running through this meadow of so many flowers and so many colours, holding on to a piece of string leading up to a kite. He's flying with it. The giggles are the purest thing you've ever heard, and you miss them. He's running through this field with all the joy in a soul that a young boy can have, running towards a kind and caring older woman who is also very familiar to you. She kneels down with open arms as he runs toward her, kind of like jumps at her. She catches him, kind of does this little spin with him, places him down, and then they both look up toward the kite, and your vision shows up toward the kite as well. Then draws back down to them. The pair of them look up as if they're looking out towards someone. They're looking for someone. Moments later, a what's known as a runner, basically a postman, comes running by, kind of smiles, passes a single letter, and on that letter you can see Uldir's name. Passes it to her. She smiles with the warmth of the sun itself. The runner passes off, opens it up, pulls it out, starts reading. And you don't really see what it says, but all you see is the look of mixed emotions, all of them good though. There's a lot of like, oh, us, and like, he did what? And at some point, there's just this face that is only described as like a form of pride. She then folds the letter, places it down in the hands of the young boy to read. And then they both, once again, look up toward the sky. Both of them place their hands on their chests, close their eyes, and they just think for a moment. And then you wake up. Anessa. You and Vlad, as you are more than likely almost like diagonal over each other, KO'd. Yours is not so pleasant because
No.
in the middle of the night you are visited in a dream by your mother.
Jeez.
There is in the middle of an actually decent dream, everything suddenly just goes... everything just gets filled with this darkness and a light tinge of green from the bottom ranks of the darkness. As everything surrounds you and covers you, there's this sensation of needing to cough. It overwhelms, and then your mind focuses on the fact it's a dream. You still feel a tightness in your chest. These multitudes of vines start to peel out of the darkness and surround you to show that you've no escape. And once they've surrounded you, from beyond the fence of vines, the not-so-withered face of Katrina, your mama, as she tilts her head slightly, the pure white hair is pulled back. She has a bun at the back of her hair, these raven feather topped, like long flowing cape that is very greyed and damp, and near the bottoms you see it's been dragged through the mud a little bit, but she's holding on to a long, near white oaken staff with these branches of like dark, almost greying tips. As she sinks closer, she hits the border of the fence between you and herself, and she just stares for a moment. She then begins walking around the edges of the vines and just looks at you. And then you see more portions of her, like these after images of her, start to appear where she walks. Daughter dear, it would appear that my power is coming back to me fully. Soon I will see you again. We will have such a reunion. And there is many people to thank for this. I do so hope you meet them someday. Her head tilts and there's this little sound of cracking, but not coming from her. You see some of the fencing that surrounds you. You see portions of it start to snap off. How have we been? I've been keeping some tabs on you, but there is only so much I can still do. But soon, I will come visit you, you and Vlad, and I will bring you home. How does that sound?
Oh, no.
Well, that is a shame. Because... she slowly raises her hands. She slowly curls her fingers into her fist and then tightens it, and you hear the knuckles crack. You see the vines formed this fence start to slowly spread and encroach closer toward you. While you are my blood, both you and he belong to me. It does not matter how far you go. While you live, my hands, all I have to do is grasp tighter, and I can drag your blood free from your body. And I will have my coffin again, either by you two joining it, or your blood restoring my sisters. So do the smart thing when I come for you. Behave yourselves, or I will rip your brother's heart from his beating chest in front of you and devour it.
She's such a bitch. She's a bitch.
It was good to see you again. She loosens her grip and you see the vines retract. Goodbye, daughter. She, as an image fades, the vines all around you retract and return to the earth. The darkness quickly peels away from you. And the landscape that you were in your dream returns to as it was. Though now the sun is dark, most of the colours are gone, and as you look around in the distance you can see a much, much younger Vlad with a face full of tears, his hands pressing against his cheeks, moving them away. Sat alone, Ravi chained in the background, trying to reach him, and nobody else there. And then your mother appears in front of him. kneels down, places her hand over the top of his head gently, and then seconds later he's looking up at her with eyes of just sadness and that slight bit of hope. And then she places her hand on his chest.
No, I want to wake up.
Make a wisdom save. Oh! You immediately
The love of man is real.
throw your eyes open to the sounds of Vlad. He's not like screaming or anything, but he is making these sounds of like frustration, and there's little hints of fear. And you quickly grab him, start
Yes, I do.
shaking him, and you hear Ravi outside start scratching at the door.
I let Ravi in to comfort him.
As your brother's like being shook, his eyes do slowly wake up. Ravi like pokes his head in. He's too big to get in. Like pokes his head in.
Oh.
Vlad looks at you and goes, "Sister," she's like grabbing his head. "Mother was in my head."
I'm just gonna hug him to me like she was in mine too.
And then
She's not going to be anymore.
Ravi's still just like scratching at the door, like trying to get in closer, just like.
Carry him over to Ravi, but I'll just cuddle together.
Ravi kind of like nuzzling between the pair of you.
I don't know why we were cursed for this bitch of a mother. But I'm telling you now, she is not going to get to us.
He's like, you do see these like little bits of like tears along one eye.
No.
And he's just like trying to like blink it off and like hide his face away almost. And then once the tears dry properly, you see there's, not to use the term, but there's no more tears. And his face turns a little sour. It turns to anger. And then he looks up at you. "I want to face her. Can we bring her here? Or even not here, can we bring her somewhere we have the advantage? I'm done with this."
I promise you that we will.
He nods. You see Kia and Anriel both are now coming into view. They're looking over toward you from the scratching of Ravi. They got concerned, woke up and just came around to check. But as soon as they realise you're as fine as can be anyway, they wander off. A couple of minutes later they come back with little bits of food, some glass of water, a cloth just to like wipe down with and whatnot. And after that they kind of just take a general measure, make sure you're fine, and then they return to the room. And that would be session. So, what are you all going to be doing next time I wander?
Gonna do some matricide.
I'm looking at plants and stuff.
I would like to spend, well, Anessa wants to spend some time trying to figure out what kind of magic it is that her mum has got, and seeing if there's a way for her to kind of block her from seeing them in some way. I don't think she's that powerful yet, but we can try. I do have 6 level spells now.
Yes.
So, I don't
Well,
know.
put it this way: the typical spells used to detect you are I believe, up to 5th level that aren't area of effect or something like that. There are some like 7th, I think, and or 8th level that kind of are just nuts.
Yeah.
But at the very least, basic stuff like scry can be blocked.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna probably talk to the wizards about it in the morning and see if there's anything they can help with.
Okay.
I'll also see if they're familiar with her as well, because she's crazy.
It's crazy.
Crazy.
All Esatari's exes get together.
They get together to figure out how to solve the case.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's now 11:30. Jesus fucking Christ.
Mm-hmm.
I will leave you all
It's okay,
to.
it's the weekend soon.
It is. Thank fuck for that. Thank fuck for that.
I like you just ignoring tomorrow.
Yeah, but Fridays
honestly.
Fridays are great. It doesn't matter.
I've got, well, today, like Thursdays are so good for me now. They used to be my worst days. I was so busy, like, genuinely not a moment to myself. And now, like, today, I had my planning time in the morning, and then I went into